All right, friends. So this is Dheeraj, and we have Tushar also with me. So we are live here, and the agenda of today's session is to have a discussion on the NEET paper. So today, I'm sure many of you might have taken the NEET paper and eager to know whether you have got the correct one or not. So we are here to talk about the question paper. We have tried ensuring that we are error free in this discussion, but you know that since we are in a hurry and you are also probably eager to know the solution as soon as possible, so we have the entire team sitting here, and we, as and when we are solving the questions, we are coming here one by one and just having a discussion on questions, right? So let's start the discussion with the physics section. All right, so we'll have physics section. I'll open up that so you can see on your screen the first question. All right, so here you can see that there is a galvanometer which does not show any deflection in the circuit shown, and we need to find out the value of the resistance. Now if you see the circuit here, if galvanometer doesn't show any deflection, what does it mean? It means that galvanometer doesn't have any current, right? So all the current that is, let us say, generated by the battery will pass through the resistance after crossing the 400 ohm. All right, so if I have to, let us say solve this, I can simply use Kirchhoff law here. This is my loop number 1. There is no current over there, so you can directly write, in fact the current is 10 divided by 400 plus R, isn't it? Now when do you think there is no current to the galvanometer? When whatever the voltage drop across the resistance, it matches with the potential drop of 2 volts, right? So all you have to do is equate 10R by 400 plus R equals to 2. And you are going to get the value of resistance as 100 ohms. All right, so let us go to the next question, guys. So of course, you might have written different sections, or sorry, different papers, so the sequence may not match. So I'm expecting you to find out your questions. I'm expecting you to find your questions looking at the questions over here. All right, so here is the second question. You can see that here is the second question. Here is the second question. Akhil, don't talk. Just a second. Huh. So sorry for those small technical glitches we are having. So we are taking every precaution to make sure that we are error free and in a hurry also. So anyways, so this is a question. You can see we have a wire that is suspended from the ceiling and is stretched by the weight W attached at its free end. All right. So we need to find longitudinal stress at any point of the cross section area A. So we are assuming here the wire doesn't have a mass in it. Okay. So whatever is a weight which is attached, the tension is throughout the weight only. So simply you have to say W by A as the answer over here. So option number 4 is the correct answer. All right. So let us go to the next question. So you can see there is a big, paragraph here. If I were you, I would have left this question and moved to the next so that I could save a couple of seconds and feel comfortable that I have got many questions correct. But anyways, the exam is over, so we can talk about it. So the work function of the cesium, potassium, and sodium, three elements, the work functions are given, and the electromagnetic radiation is falling on it, which has the photon of that has 2.2 electron volt, and we need to find which of the surfaces will emit the photoelectrons. So we know that the work function, whatever the work function, the photon of the radiation energy of that has to be more than that. So you can see 2.2 electron volt is only above the 2.14 electron volt work function and is less than 2.3 and 2.75. So definitely only cesium. So option number 3 is correct over here. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Now here, this is a theoretical question. So this is a relief. So the Venturi meter works on which principle? So you can, if you remember from whatever you have learned in grade 11 to derive the entire principle of Venturi meter, the flow rate and all, you have to use continuity and the Bernoulli's principle. So we can say option number 4 is correct for the question number 4. So let us go to the next question. All right, so we have potential energy of a long spring which is stretched by 2 centimeters u. If the spring is stretched by 8 centimeter, you need to find the potential energy. Now, here we need to do a little bit of work, but it's not much. So you can see potential energy is half k into 2 square. Now I'm not taking care of units here. You need to basically convert into SI unit if somebody asks you exactly what is the energy. But since I will be taking ratio, so I'm just writing 2 here. So let's say this is U1. And potential energy, the second case is half k into 8 square, right? Now, if you take a ratio here, U2 by U1 becomes 8 by 2 whole square, which is 16. Now, you are in a hurry. So, you just see the factor of 16 here, mark option 2 correct and move forward. All right. So, this is your fifth question. Let us go to the sixth question. So, you can see how fast we are solving here. So, I am assuming that you might be getting, you might be solving at the similar speed in the exam also. So, you can see this is a question which is little twisted, but anyhow, we'll be solving it. So, we did not wait for it to be getting typed and all. So, we just taken the screenshot as soon as possible and putting it here. So you can see here the temperature of the gas is minus 50 degrees Celsius. We need to find the temperature of the gas should be heated so that RMS speed to be increased by the 3 times. Now we know that the velocity is proportional to root over temperature, right? So V1 you can say is proportional to root T1 and V2 is proportional to root over T2. So we can see V2 by V1 is equal to root over T2 by T1. And from here, V2 is 3 times. So we can say 3 is equal to root over T2 by T1. And this will give you T2 to be equal to 9 times T1. All right. Now you have to make sure that you convert this temperature into Kelvin. You can't do 9 times of minus 50 degrees Celsius. Okay. So T2 is equal to 9 times of 273 minus 50. All right. Now we have verified at our end that whatever answer you get here in Kelvin, that doesn't match with any of the options. So we will wait for the confirmation, but from our end, we are reasonably sure that you'll get bonus marks for this. So congratulations. All right. So let us go to the next question. Question number 7. Now, this question is on surface tension, which is probably the most ignored topic of the fluids. So you can see that amount of energy required to form a soap bubble of radius 2 centimeter from a soap solution is what? Now, when it is a soap solution, we are assuming the interface to be horizontal, radius is infinity. Now, we are creating a soap bubble of radius 2 centimeter. Now, if surface tension is, if the surface tension is S, we know that the surface energy is surface tension into surface area. But here it is a bubble. So bubble has 2 interface. So we need to double it up, right? So 2S into 4 pi r square you have to do. This is the potential energy. All right. So, this is the answer. So when you substitute here all the values, surface tension is 0.03, radius when you put as 2 into 10 to minus 2 meters, you will get the answer. You will get the answer as option number 1, 3 into 10 to minus 4 joules. All right. So let us go to the next question, question number 8. So I am here to discuss only the first 10 questions. After that, my colleague Shankar will take over. All right, so let us discuss this. The ratio of radius of gyration of a solid sphere of mass m and radius r about its own axis to the radius of gyration of a hollow sphere of the same mass and radius about its axis is what? Now, if radius of gyration is k, we can write m into k square as the moment of inertia, right? So this is equal to 2 by 5 mr square for the case of solid sphere. All right, now for the case of the hollow sphere, m into k2 square, I can say 2 by 3 mr square. Now I'm assuming radius is same for both. We can confirm that. Yeah, both having the same radius. So now when you take a ratio, you will get k1 by k2 the whole square to be equal to 3 by 5. Now you can see here k1 by k2 comes out to be root over 3 by 5. Now this is also surprising, my dear friend, because the option doesn't have root over 3 by 5. So most probably you are going to get another bonus. All right. So, but then again, we'll wait for the confirmation. But as far as whatever calculation we have done, we think that the option for the correct answer is not in this question. So we will go to the next question. So you can see here now, the moment you see such question, you find relief, because however much you see that, mechanics is difficult and all, but yes, we are, isn't it? So a bullet is fired from a gun speed of 280 meter per second and in the direction 30 degrees up the horizontal. We need to find maximum height. Now this is a direct formula application question. All right, so we should know that the maximum height formula is u square sine square theta by 2g. Now, do you think they are testing you on concept here? Definitely not. They are testing you on your calculation abilities. All right, so the calculation is a little difficult here. You need to substitute u as 280 and square it, then sine square theta you have to do, then g you can't take 10, you have to take 9.8. But my dear friend, when you do that calculation, you get a beautiful answer. You get 1000 meter as the correct answer. All right, so let us go to the next question. So question number 10. All right, so here is a question number 10. You can see here, this is on EM wave. And we just, this is a huge question. So we'll just look at the data points here. This is the frequency. This is the amplitude of the, electric field. And we need to find the amplitude of the magnetic field. Now we know that electric field amplitude divided by magnetic field amplitude has to be equal to speed of light, isn't it? So sorry about that. So magnetic field is equal to electric field divided by speed of light. So electric field amplitude is 48, that divided by 3 into 10 is power 8. So you can see beautiful answer comes option number 1 again. All right, so this is how you can solve the first 10 question. I hope you liked it. Now I am welcome Shankar. We are making sure that we are giving you solutions live, very fast, thick and fast. So that's why more than one person is solving questions. All right, so Shankar, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Dheeraj sir. I am here with the next set of questions. Okay, let's clean this and let's close this. Okay, let's move on to the next question. I have a question on magnetic flux, and it's a very easy question. They're asking the net magnetic flux through any closed surface is how much. Now we know, we have studied magnetism, and okay, one thing we know about magnets is they will always have a north and a southern pole. Even if you break the magnet into two, the two pieces, broken pieces, will always form two poles, like north and south and north and south. So this, what it means is essentially that monopoles in case of magnetism does not exist. So the solution to the question is 0. Okay, the net magnetic flux through any closed surface will be 0 because there cannot be any magnetic monopoles. Let's move on to the next question, guys. Okay, next question is based on a Carnot engine. We know about Carnot engine. Carnot engine takes up, there's a hot reservoir, okay, and there's a cold reservoir, and this is the engine. The engine takes energy from hot reservoirs, gives us output of work, and it sends out some energy to the cold reservoir. Okay, now one thing we know about this is that the temperature here is given to us as 327 degrees centigrades. If I convert this to Kelvin, guys, this will become well, plus 273. So this becomes 600 kelvins. So I'm given that the hot reservoir is working at 600 kelvins. This is given at 600 kelvins. Now in the cold reservoir and the work, the efficiency is given to us as 50%, and efficiency is essentially in a heat engines, it is how much is the work divided by how much energy put inside the from the hot reservoir, right? So this is given to us as half, and since this is half, that means half of the energy is going into work done and half energy is coming to the cold reservoir. So and also one thing we know that these temperatures right here are directly proportional to the heat energy transferred. So T1 by T2. Okay. So this right here is 600 Kelvin. Remember that this calculation will happen only in Kelvin. Don't forget to change your units to Kelvin. So this becomes half equal to whatever is the temperature of the cold reservoir divided by 600 kelvins, right? So from here you get the temperature to be 300 kelvins. Now your options are in centigrade, so if you convert this into centigrade, your answer comes out to be 27 degrees centigrade. Let's move on. Question number 13. A full wave rectifier circuit consists of two PN junction diodes, a center tap transformer, capacitor, and a load resistance. This is a theory-based question. You have to know about this from the chapter. Okay, which of these components remove the AC ripple from the rectified output? This is a theory-based question. The answer to this is the capacitor. Okay, so in the capacitor, option number A is used to refine your AC output to have a better outlook, okay, of DC. Let's move forward to the next question, guys. This is a very easy question. The equivalent capacitance of the system shown in the following circuit is how much? Well, we know these two circuits, these two capacitors right here are located in parallel. They're positioned as parallel connection. So that means the voltage across them will be same, and the equivalent capacitance will be simply 3 plus 3. Okay, so this will be what? 6 microfarads, guys. This part is 6 microfarads. Now this converts into a very easy question. You have two capacitors. One is 3 microfarad, the other is 6 microfarad. These are connected in series. In series, the net capacitance is given by C1 C2 divided by C1 plus C2. If I apply this formula here, 3 into 6 divided by 3 plus 6 gives me how much? 18 by 9, which is 2 microfarad. Okay, so 3 is the correct option here, guys. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 15. LCR circuit has an inductance value of 10 microfarad. Capacitance is 1 microfarad. Resistance is 100 ohms. The frequency at which the resonance occurs is how much? Well, one thing I notice here from the options is that I have two sets of units here. Okay, one is in radian per second and the other one is in kilohertz. So either they're asking us omega or F. Okay, in resonance we know. Let's clean this. Okay, so I would say ki omega is equal to 1 upon root LC, or if I want to change it into normal frequency, F becomes equals to 1 by 2 pi of root LC. Okay, so either we can do the calculations here. I don't need the value of resistance. This is useless information. I have 10 microhenry and 1 microfarad. So I have to multiply this. This value is how much? 10 into 10 raised to power minus 3 Henry. Capacitance is 10 raised to power minus 6. Okay, and if I multiply this, I get 10 raised to power minus 8, which goes up. This becomes 10 raised to power 4. So omega is 10 to power 4. Okay, so omega's value is 10 to power 4. I see both these options are cancelled here. I don't need this. Okay, I have to figure out how much is this value in actual frequency. Okay, so this value is 10 to power 4. I just have to divide it by 2 pi and I get the value of the frequency, which is essentially 10 divided by 2 pi in kilohertz. Okay, 10 divided by 2 pi in Okay, so this comes out to be 1.59 kilohertz. Okay, the key in this question is just notice the units here. I know some people might have got stuck. Key, I could not find out the value of omega, but they were not asking the value of omega, they were asking the value of F. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 16 is a question on flux. Okay, so if E dot ds is 0 over a surface, then which of these statements is correct? Well, I have gone through all the statements, and option number 3 is the best one that describes it. Okay, so if I know that the flux E dot dx is 0, well, one thing is for sure, that the net flux coming out of that is going to be 0. So one of these statements, the third statement, the number of the flux lines entering the surface must be equal to the number of the flux lines leaving it, is the best statement to describe this scenario. Let's move on. So question number 3, option number 3 is the correct option. Okay, now this is a question based on electric dipole. So the electric dipole is placed in at an angle of 30 degrees with the electric field. Okay, so I have some sort of electric field which is traveling. Okay, and I have kept a dipole like this. Okay, the dipole is making an angle of 30 degrees. So this is, let's say, is P, this is electric field E. So the formula for torque is actually P vector cross E vector. Okay, P cross, oh, okay, let's move this down. So the formula for torque is P cross E. Okay, so if I open this, this is essentially P E sine theta, where P is what? P is the dipole moment, E is the electric field, and sine theta, where theta is the angle between the P vector and E vector. Well, P value is something that we need to figure out. E is given to us. It is 2 into 10 raised to power 5, and sine of 30 degrees is half. Okay, sine of 30 degrees is half. Torque is also given to us. This is equals to 4. Okay, so if I do this, 2 and 2 cancels out, and the value of dipole moment comes out to be 4 into 10 to power, I think I did some mistake. No, 4 into 10 raised to power minus 5 seems correct. Yes, this is perfectly correct. Now, one thing that is given to us is the length of the dipole. Okay, let's move forward. Football player is moving southward. Okay, so let's draw this. Okay, a football player is moving southward. So this is the initial velocity. Okay, speed to avoid an opponent, he suddenly turns eastward. Okay, so if I designate a certain direction, this is north, then southward is the initial velocity, final velocity is in eastward direction. This is happening in the eastward direction. So what they are asking is, what is the direction of force? Well, for finding out the direction of force, I need the direction of acceleration. How do you find out acceleration? Final velocity minus initial velocity, right? So this is the direction of final velocity. What is the direction of minus? Because I have to do Vf minus Vi, right? What is the direction of minus Vi? Well, it is in this direction. Because Vi is in this direction, minus Vi is in the north direction. So I have to add these two vectors, because this will be the direction of Vf minus Vi. Well, I'm only talking about the direction here, so don't say keep final minus initially. There has to be a time component as well. So if I add to these vectors, this is the direction of the acceleration, and hence this is the direction of the force. So among these, option number 1, which is saying northeast, is going to be the correct answer, because this is east direction, this is north direction, so northeast is the correct answer. Okay, let's move forward, guys. 19, the magnetic energy stored in an inductor. Well, I know the direct formula for this one, guys. Okay, the energy in an inductor is given by half times Li square. Half L is how much? 4 micro. 4 into 10 raised to power minus 6. I is how much? Well, it's 2 square, which is 4. So I'll essentially get, it's correct. So this is goes 4 2s are 8. 8 into 10 raised to power minus 6. Okay, so 8 microjoules is the correct answer here. No complications in this kind of question. Let's move forward, guys. 20, resistance of a carbon resistor determined by the color codes is 22000 plus minus 5% ohm. So this is the question from BB Roy. Okay, so I hope you remember the BB Roy acronym. BB Roy. Okay, so these colors are, this is black followed by brown, this is red, this is orange, and this is yellow. This is how you color code your resistor. There's more to this, but I'm going to require only these. Why? Because the first band, okay, so in a register, if you make a register, the first band represents the first digit, second band, second digit, third is the band which determines how many zeros, what is the multiplier that you need to use. Well, I see that my register has, well, 2 2 and then 000, so I'm looking for a multiplier in range of 10 raised to power 3. So 1 2, so it starts from 0 1 2 3. So orange is the one correct answer here. Okay, so orange is the correct answer here. Let's move forward to the next question, and the next question will be dealt with by one and only Subbu sir.
Start with question number 21. Now this is a question from refraction and is asking the critical angle. You'll use the direct formula where critical angle is sine inverse of mu. Sine inverse of mu, where mu is the rarer with respect to denser, so that you get a value less than 1 here. So as a shortcut, we are just going to divide the velocities to find mu. Which velocity to divide by which without thinking too much, we'll just say we need to get a value less than 1. Velocity in denser medium is the light is slower, which means to get a velocity less than 1, we'll divide denser velocity by rarer velocity. Denser velocity is 10x distance by t2 time divided by the rarer velocity, which is x distance by t1 time. X cancels out and you get 10 t1 by t2 as the refractive index less than 1 of the rarer with respect to denser. And sine inverse of this refractive index is sine inverse 10 t1 by t2, which you can expect is going to be a value less than 1. So simple question about refractive index. For speed, you can not worry about which to divide by which. Just observe that you are finding a value less for sine inverse, right? So this is a question on Young's double slit experiment. It's a straightforward question. So if the screen is moved away, the angular separation between the fringes, keyword here is angular separation. We are not talking about the separation distance between fringes. We are talking about their angular separation, which means at what angle are the two fringes forming. Now, if you remember the YDSE diagram, you find that the path length between the light rays traveling from each slit is proportional to d sine theta, which means the path length defines the path length distance, which decides for constructive or destructive interference. This will decide whether the angular separation of the dark and light fringes where it forms. Changing the distance of the screen does not affect this angular separation, which means the distance will not change. Statement 1 is true. The angular separation remains constant. Statement 2, if the monochromatic source is replaced by another monochromatic source of larger wavelength, this means that the wavelength increases, and to provide a similar path length of half wavelength, the path difference will have to be larger because half wavelength is larger, which means a larger angle would have to be deviated through by the beam. So the angular separation of fringe is supposed to increase. Angular separation will increase, then we will have a larger path difference to provide for a larger wavelength, larger half wavelength as the difference. So statement 1 is true, angular separation does not change. Statement 2, angular separation decreases. This is false. The angular separation actually increases. So option 1 is correct. Option 1. The half-life of a radioactive substance is 20 minutes. In how much time the activity of a substance drops to 1 by 16 to 240 by 80 into 10 power minus 2. 3s are 24. So you get 3 into 10 power minus 2 per degree Celsius. Option 1, 3 into 10 power minus 2. Ahead of time, you know that we are asking only about the order of magnitude, since 3 is common in all options. So remember this while solving questions. Only talk about order of magnitude. This is a very, very interesting question, because here he has used the phrase dipole. He has used the phrase an electric dipole, but you are not supposed to use the dipole formula for this question. Very, very important, because this is the origin and the separation between charges is 3 centimeter, 3 centimeter. This itself 6 centimeter. The point P at which we are looking is 5 centimeter away from this. The essence of a dipole is that this gap has to be much smaller than the distance of the point from the center. The gap between charges has to be very small. This is the important essence of a dipole. This gap is 6, this is 5. This is nowhere, this is not even smaller, forget much smaller. So this does not count as the dipole in the sense that you cannot use dipole formula. You cannot use Kp by r square Kp for the potential of a dipole here, because that formula assumes that this is much smaller than this. Since it is not, what will you do? You will just use the potential formula. The distance from this to this is 5, this is 3, so this is 2, and this is 5, this is 3, this distance is 8 centimeter. 8 centimeter and 2 centimeter. What is the potential? Due to this charge, the potential is kq by 2 into 10 power 2 for centimeters, and then due to the other charge it is minus kq by, this is 8 into 10 power 2. So if I subtract these two, LCM is going to be 8, and then 4 minus 1 is 3 by 8 kq into 10 power 2. So 3 by 8 kq, 10 power 2 volts. He is asking the in units of 10 power 2 volts. Answer is 3 by 8 kq in terms of k only. So option 3, 3 by 8 kq. Very interesting. You are supposed to yourself realize that gap between charges is not small compared to the distance of the point. Therefore, you cannot use the dipole formula. If you use, you will not get the correct answer. Excellent question. This is very straightforward. For the following circuit, the truth table. So instead of drawing up each value, like take 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, we can use this also in a shortcut, in a logical way, because you have to solve 45 questions in 1 hour. This is a NAND gate, right? Which means this part of this gate is AND. Now AND is very good because AND is true only in one condition, when both of them are true, right? If AND is true, NAND is going to be 0 if AND is 1. So there is, we will find that there is only one condition where we get 0. That is when the AND gate shows 1. That means these two show 1. But because of this not, this will only happen when these two show 0. So this tells us that if A and B are both 0, these two will be 1, AND will be 1, NAND will be 0. So apart from this case, if these are anything else, AND is going to become 0, NAND is going to become 1. So for AND, we evaluate only the one case where these two 0 will give you 0 and anything else will give you 1. Look at the options. Y0 should be only in the case where A and B are 0. 2 cases here, wrong answer. 3 cases here, wrong answer. 1 case here, 1 case here. But this 0 is when both are 1. This 0 is when both are 0. Y is 0 when A and B are both 0 and 1 every time else. Fourth option is the correct one. Y is 0 when A and B are both 0. So for and or, evaluate only one condition rather than evaluating all of the conditions. This is a direct formula based question. So there is a conducting wire, the magnetic field due to this conducting wire arranged in this. There is a line, infinite line, semicircle. What is formula for infinite line? Ampere's law tells us that infinite line is mu naught I by 2 pi r. But this is not an infinite line, this is semi-finite, right? Semi-finite line will be half of this value, mu naught I by 4 pi r. But then there are two semi-finite lines. Are their fields going to add up or cancel? This is going this way. Align your thumb, curl your right hand fingers, it is going inwards due to this. What about this? Align your thumb, curl your fingers, it is also going inwards. The fields add up and you get 2 times of this and you get again mu naught I by 2 pi r. This is the field, magnetic field due to the two straight segments. What about due to this? The magnetic field due to an arc is mu naught I by 2r for the whole circle. This is, since this is a semicircle, it's going to be mu naught I by 4r. And now if you add these two, you will get mu naught I by 4r common. Yeah, but are you supposed to add them or subtract? What is the direction of field due to this arc? Align your thumb, curl your fingers. By the time your fingers reach P, they are coming outwards, which means this is outwards and these two are going inwards. This is the inward field, this is the outward field. You need to subtract them. Take mu naught I by 4r common. For the curved part, you get 1. For the this part, you will get the 4r. So there should be a pi in the denominator. There will be a 2 in the numerator. And this is inwards or outwards. As I have written it, this is taking this one as positive, the arc as positive, which means it is taking outwards as positive. 1 minus 2 by pi outwards away from the page. Option 1, mu naught I by 4r into 1 minus 2 by pi away from the page. Last question which I will be taking. Two thin lenses are of same focal length. One is convex and the other is concave. When they are placed in contact with each other, the equivalent focal length of the combination will be. They are placed in contact or close together. From optics, you know that when two lenses are placed close together, whether they are convex or concave or whatever combination, the powers add up. This is the simple fact. The powers add up is a simple fact which you need to remember for this. What is the power of one lens? It is the inverse of the focal length. Convex lenses have positive focal length, so power is also positive 1 by f. Concave lenses have negative focal length, power is negative, so minus 1 by f. You add them up, you get power 0. So your answer is 0? No. Power is 0. He is asking equivalent focal length of the combination will be how much? A 0 power, which means focal length has to be infinity, because power is inverse of focal length. 0 will be only when focal length is infinity, and therefore the combination will have an infinite focal length. So now Dheeraj sir will continue with the rest of the questions.
Thanks, Subbu. So I'm back again. So last 10 questions only in physics. So earlier used to be 45 questions. Now there are 50. But the trend that we have seen, is that the quality of question, or you can say the difficulty level of the question, that is actually going down. Fine. So let us go to the next question, question number 41. All right. Question number 41. So you can see that they are asking what the question is: the radius of the innermost orbit of the hydrogen atom is given to us. They are asking us to find the radius of the third allowed orbit. Now, third allowed orbit means that the quantum number is 3. So n equal to 3. Now, the radius formula, I hope all of us know, is r naught n square by z, where r naught is the radius at the n equal to 1. So when you substitute here, it will be equal to r naught, which is 5.3 into 10 to the power minus 11 into n square. N is 3, so into 9. So now, when you simplify it, you will get 3 9s are 27, 47.7 into 10 to the minus 11. So you are going to get option number 2 as correct. So this is the correct answer for question number 41. Let us go to the next question. So here we need to find the maximum acceleration of a moving car so that the body which is on the floor of the car remains stationary. Now the scenario is something like this. Just imagine there is a truck instead of a car. So there is this block. Now we need to find maximum acceleration of the truck so that this block doesn't move. All right. Now the thing is that the block will start sliding only and only if the truck is moving with so fast acceleration that the block is not able to sustain because of its own friction. So maximum allowed acceleration of the block is what we need to find out first. Now, who will move the block? Only friction force is there which can move it forward. Now, friction force is mu times normal direction. Now, we are in a hurry and we can see that normal direction is mg only here. So, mu mg, when you equate it to mass times maximum acceleration, so you'll get maximum acceleration of the block. So, if the car or a truck moves with higher acceleration than this, then the block will not be able to sustain because it can at max move with this acceleration. So this is the maximum acceleration of the truck or a car, so that the block kept on it also moves with the same acceleration or both moves together. So mu is what? Mu is 0.15 and g is 10. So the answer is 1.5 meter per second square. All right. So let us go to the next question. So you can see here a satellite is orbiting just above the surface of the Earth with time period t. If d is a density and g is the universal gravitational constant, we need to find out what is the value of this quantity. We need to find out what is the value of this quantity. Now, like we always say that whenever someone or some object is orbiting in a circle, the first equation that you have to write is the force toward the center is mass times centripetal acceleration. All right. So you can see here the radius of revolution is a radius of Earth only. All right. So I can directly write g times mass of the satellite into mass of the Earth divided by radius of the Earth square. That is equal to mass of the satellite omega square into radius of the orbit. So this is our first equation. Now I need to bring in the time period over here, right? T. So what I'll do, I'll simplify a little bit here. M is gone, and omega I can write it as 2 pi by time period. So that is square into Re, and also mass of Earth is not given to us, rather density is given. So I'll use that. So mass of the Earth can be written as density times 4 by 3 pi into radius cube, that divided by radius square is equal to 4 pi square by t square into radius. Fine. Now all we have to do is simplify a little bit and you will get the answer right away. So you can see many things are getting cancelled out here, and you will get the value of here g d by 3 to be equal to pi by t square, right? So 3 pi by gd is equal to t square. So option number 4 is correct here. All right. So let us go to the next question. Okay. So now here is a question where we need to find the impedance. All right. Now here we know that impedance formula, this is equal to xl minus xc whole square plus r square. This formula holds good when things are connected in series. Okay, so we need to be patient here a little bit because the calculation is slightly heavier. So one by one we have to calculate xl. Xl is omega into l, which is 2 pi into 50 into L. L is 50 by pi. Okay, so 50 by pi millihenry. So 10 to the minus 3. So you can see here this becomes 100 into 50 into 10 to the minus 3. So this is 5 ohms. Okay, now XC is 1 by omega C. Omega is 2 pi, again 50. This is 50. Sorry for my writing here. That into the capacitance value 10 to the power 3 by pi into 10 to the power minus 6. Now, this, when you do your calculation properly, you will get this as 10 ohm. Okay, so I have done a little bit of calculation myself before coming here, so that's why I can directly write here. So this is 10, this is 5, and resistance is 10. So you can substitute here, you will get root over 10 minus 5 whole square, 5 square plus 10 square. So you can take 5 out, this will become 1 plus 4. So it will be 5 root 5. So the answer is option number 1. Okay, so let's move forward. Now, this is, I can definitely say that while you prepare so hard for exam like NEET, you will definitely have encountered this kind of question. So this is not an unseen type of question. So 10 resistances, each resistance R, when they are connected in series. Now, when you see this up to here, you immediately write the equivalent resistance in the first case is 10R. They are connected in series. Now, if then those are connected in parallel. Now, if the same thing is connected in parallel, the equivalent resistance will go to R by 10. Okay, like 1 by R plus 1 by R plus 1 by R 10 times is equal to 1 by R equivalent. So R equivalent is equal to R by 10. Now, current in the first case is equal to V by R equivalent in the first case, which is 10R. Current in the second case is V divided by R by 10. Now, if you have done enough practice, you don't need to move forward from here. You can see the factor of 100 is a difference. I mean, if you take a ratio, so definitely, factor of 100 will come out when you take a ratio. So option number 4 is correct here. All right. So let us go to the next question. Question number 6. So a horizontal bridge is built across a river. There's a student who is throwing a stone upwards with this velocity. The ball strikes the water surface after 4 seconds. You need to find the height of the bridge. All right. So a small diagram will always help, my dear friends. So let's say height is h. You're throwing it up with a velocity of 4 meter per second. Okay. Now what it does, the ball goes up and comes back here. So while it is coming and hitting, total displacement, let's say upward you're taking positive, total displacement in the y direction is minus h. Okay. Time, what is time? Time is 4 seconds, and the velocity is plus 4 meter per second. This is the initial velocity. So which formula comes in your mind? Definitely everything is given for a formula which is s equal to ut plus half at square. Okay. So s is minus h, u is plus 4, t is again 4, and acceleration, I hope they asked us 10. Yes. So acceleration is minus 10 into 4 square. So that is 16. So this is 8. So you can see here minus h is equal to 16 minus 80. Now 16 minus 80, a factor of 4 should come in here. So I'll mark option number 1 because we are in a hurry. So let's move forward. This is question number 46. Now here is again one more question on the equivalent focal length. So you might have seen Subbu discussing finding the equivalent focal length. So this is one more question. So you can see it is written here that these are three thin lenses in contact. So we need to find out the equivalent focal length. All right. So this is one lens, this is another one, and this is a third one. So we know that 1 by focal length is equal to 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2 plus 1 by f3. Okay. So 1 by f1, let us say this one, can be written as mu minus 1 into the radius of this side is infinite, is a flat surface. So 0 minus the radius of that side is plus 20. So this. So you are going to get it as 0.4 by 20 minus of that. Okay. So this is 1 by f1. Okay. So when you do this, when you use the same formula for this, you're going to get the same thing, 0.4 by minus 0.4 by 20. It doesn't matter how the length is kept, whether you come from this side or that side, the focal length of this one remains same. So same way it holds good for that. So 1 by, you can say that side is f3. So 1 by f3 is also equal to minus of 0.4 by 20. Now this is f2. So 1 by f2 is equal to mu minus 1, that is 1.5 minus 1. Now here r1 is plus 20 and r2 is minus 20. So you get 1 by f2 as you get 1 by 20. So this is 1 by 20. This is 1 by 0.4 by 20. So you need to add it up. When you add everything up, you'll get the equivalent focal length as minus 100 centimeters. Okay, so let me just confirm because I have already solved. Yes. So this is the correct answer. Let us move to the next question. Okay. All right. So this is question number 48. So wire carrying a current I along the positive x-axis has length L. It is kept in a magnetic field which is given to us. The magnitude of the magnetic force acting on the wire is what? Now this wire is a straight wire, right? So length, we have to treat it like a vector. So we can say that the length L is, length vector L is nothing but L into I cap. Now the force, we know the formula IL cross B. So you can see here it is IL, I cross of this. Now I cross of 2I is 0. So you can see here you'll get 3 I cross J is K, I cross K is minus J. So this is what you'll get. Now this is force vector. Now you can see the option is actually talking about the magnitudes only. So when you take the magnitude, root over 3 square plus 4 square will come, a factor of 5 will be there. So option number 1 is correct. All right. So let us go to the question number 49. So an xt graph of the particle performing a simple harmonic motion is given to us. We need to find the acceleration of the particle at t equal to 2. Now we know that the acceleration is equal to minus of omega square x, where x is a distance from the mean position, right? So this is the distance from the mean position at t equal to 2. The distance is 1. Okay, and we just need to find out what is omega. To find out the omega, we can simply use this formula 2 pi by t. Time period is what? From 0 to 8, it completes one cycle. So it will be 2 pi by 8. So this is pi by 4. Okay, so the acceleration is omega square, which is pi square by 16 into amplitude. X is amplitude, which is 1. So it is minus of pi square. So you can see here, if you are in a very hurry towards the end, they're tricking us by giving option number 1 as this. So you have to make sure that you are putting a minus. So option number 2 is correct, not option number 1. All right, so let us go to the next question. The last question of physics is this. Now you can see, if I were you, this is a huge question, and typically I skip a big question like this and move on to mark it for the later. But anyhow, since we are talking about all the questions, let us move ahead. A bullet from the gun is fired on a rectangular wooden block with the velocity of u. When bullet travels 24 centimeter through the block, the velocity becomes 1/3. Okay, now I'm sure you might have done this question, a similar question, while practicing, right? So you can do it little faster here. You can use v square equal to u square plus 2as. We are assuming that the deceleration of the bullet is constant. That is why we are using it. Okay, so from here, v square is nothing but by 9. This is equal to u square plus 2a. What is s here? S is 24 centimeter. Now, I'm not converting centimeter into meter because I have to anyway take a ratio. I know that. So I'll write it as minus of 8 u square by 9 is equal to 48 times a. So this is my first equation. Now, it is written that it comes to rest exactly at the other end, and they're asking us to find out the total length. So again, we'll use the same formula. A remains the same in both the cases. Now the final velocity is 0. Initial velocity is u square. Initial velocity is u, so u square plus 2a. Let's say length is l, so ual. So minus of u square is equal to 2al. So now 1 and 2 equation, I don't care about velocity u, so we'll take a ratio to find out what is the value of l. Even a will go away. So you'll get 8 by 9 when you take a ratio to be equal to 48 by L. So, oh, sorry, by 2L. So this is 24, this is 3 at this. So L is equal to 27. I hope it is there. Yes, it is there. So option number 3 is correct. All right. So I hope you have done really well in the physics section. Now we have another Dheeraj coming here. Dheeraj Sharath is the name, and he is a chemistry teacher at Centum Academy. So, so please welcome Mr. Dheeraj Sharath to talk about the chemistry section. All right. Thank you.
Good evening, students. Hope you guys have done a great job in today's NEET paper. We'll straight away start with the question. The question is not from the code that the physics teacher discussed. The question is from a different code paper. So try to connect with the question, not with the code. Moving further, the first question is really simple. Homoleptic complexes from the following complexes are. Homoleptic simply means that the complexes will be made up of the same type of ligands. Okay, if the complex is made up of same type of ligands, then we will call such complexes as homoleptic complexes. You just have to look at the options. I have amine here, I have aqua, so that's 2 ligand, and I have potassium trioxalato-aluminate. So potassium is the counter ion which will be present outside the complex, and trioxalato refers to the negative ligand that we have. So oxalato will be the ligand, and aluminium will be the counter metal atom. So basically, this should be the answer because it is made up of only one kind of ligand. So homoleptic complex, one kind of ligand. Moving on. Next question. Taking stability as the factor, which one of the following represents the correct relationship? So straight away we'll have to answer this based on inert pair effect. Inert pair effect. So based on this, the answer can be very easily derived. For example, they're talking about thallium, indium, aluminium. They all belong to the same group. With boron as the first element, then aluminium, then gallium, then indium, then thallium. So basically, what is inert pair effect? Very simple. As I move down the group in the periodic table, the oxidation number which is smaller, that compound will have higher stability. So what are the oxidation number that this particular group will have? It will have an oxidation number of +1 and it will have an oxidation number of +3. So if you ask me, up to gallium, I would say +3 oxidation state compound would be more stable. But the moment we come to indium and thallium, compounds with +1 oxidation state will be more stable. So if you ask me, indium thallium will prefer to form compounds with +1 oxidation state over +3. Now, you just have to figure out where is the oxidation state for indium and thallium +1. Option 1. So thallium's oxidation state here is +1 and its stability is greater than thallium whose oxidation state is +3 here. Here, indium is in +3 oxidation state. Definitely it is not stable. This is stable. So option A has to be the answer, where +1 oxidation state compound is more stable compared to the +3 oxidation state compound. Okay, we'll move on to the next question. Organic question, pretty interesting. Simple. I have benzene diazonium chloride. The moment benzene diazonium chloride reacts with Cu2Br2HBr, you get this product. The diazonium chloride component gets replaced by Br. That will be the first step, first reaction. Now, when this is made to react with Mg and dry ether, all of us know what Mg and dry ether does. It leads to the formation of Grignard's reagent. So I get benzene ring, Mg, and to Mg we would have Br associated. Okay, and very simple. This part is also over. What will happen to a Grignard's reagent when it undergoes hydrolysis? When a Grignard's reagent undergoes hydrolysis, it leads to the formation of the respective hydrocarbon. In this case, the respective hydrocarbon would be benzene with the side product of MgOH, Br. So where do we have the only hydrocarbon here? It is option C. Straightforward, three reaction involving question. We'll move ahead to the next question, guys. Yeah, the right option for the mass of carbon dioxide. So I hope you guys have understood the organic and the inorganic problems we solved. So this is the first physical problem for the day. So he's talking to us about the amount of carbon dioxide produced when you heat 20 grams of 20% pure. Let us first look at the reaction. What's limestone? Limestone is CaCO3. If you heat limestone, what happens? It decomposes to give you calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. A simple, straightforward question, and the reaction is balanced. So, if I take how much of calcium carbonate, according to the balanced reaction, calcium's weight is 40, carbon is 12, oxygen is 16, 3s are 48. So 40 plus 12 plus 48 will make it 100 grams. So if I take 100 grams, I'll get how much of carbon dioxide? 12 plus 16 into 2, 32 plus 12, 44 grams. So if I take 100 grams of calcium carbonate, I'll be getting 44 grams. And he's taking how much here? 20 grams. But this is the twist in the question. He's telling that the calcium carbonate is 20% pure. So what does it mean? If I take 20 grams of calcium carbonate, and if it's only 20% pure, only 20% would be calcium carbonate. The other would be the impurity. No. So how much would 20 into 20 by 100 be? 4 grams. Correct? So it would be 4 grams. So in reality, we are not taking 20 grams of calcium carbonate. We are taking only 4 grams. So if I take 4 grams, I'll do the calculation here. If I take 4 grams, how much of carbon dioxide will be produced? How much of carbon dioxide would be produced? Do the math. X equals to 4 into 44 divided by 100. That would come up to 1.76 grams. So 1.76 grams, option C is the answer. Okay. Next. ಈ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ನೋಡಿ ನೀವು, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್. ತುಂಬಾ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, he is simply talking to you about the solubility of a gas ಅಲ್ವಾ. So he says helium is used to dilute oxygen in the diving apparatus. That's 100% correct. ಆದ್ರೆ ಯಾಕೆ helium ಯಾಕೆ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? Simple. Helium, if you add helium to oxygen, what the divers experience as bend, the physical pain once they come back to the shore, that gets avoided. So why is helium added to oxygen? Helium is added to oxygen because helium solubility is least, or it is probably one of the least soluble gases that we have. So statement number 1 is correct. That's the assertion is right. Helium is definitely used to dilute oxygen in diving apparatus. That is not because it is highly soluble, that is because it is least soluble. So the assertion is right, but the reason is wrong. Okay, so A is, let's say both A and are true, A and, so it is A, or rather, I'm sorry, it is 4. A is true, but R is false. Okay, simple. Oh, another physical chemistry question from chemical kinetics, pretty interesting and easy to solve also. Okay, so what does it say? For a certain reaction, the rate equals to K into concentration of A to the power 2 into concentration of B. Simple. When the initial concentration of A is tripled, so all that we'll have to do is we will have to triple the initial concentration. Let's say, how will I triple? A can be written as 3A. The rest will be as it is because he is not changing the concentration of B. So this is one equation, and this equation is after you have tripled the concentration of A. Try to remove what is common. So K can be removed, A square, B can be removed. What is left out? 3 square will be left out. 3 square would be 9. So the rate would increase how many times? The rate would increase by a factor of 9. Very simple question again. Okay. Next one. Which one is an example of heterogeneous catalysis? Simple. What do you mean by heterogeneous catalysis? The reactants and the products state of matter or phase will not match with that of the catalyst. If catalyst state of matter or phase, if it does not match with reactant or product, we will we'll call such reactions as heterogeneous. Just look at it. First one, combination of dinitrogen is a gas. Along with dihydrogen is also a gas. To form ammonia is also a gas. In the presence of finely divided iron is a solid. Therefore, the solid, that is the catalyst that is present here, is in the solid format compared to the reactants and products which are in gaseous phases. So straight away option 1 is the answer because they're all not in the same phase or in the same state of matter. Okay, simple one. Again, a very, very simple question. 4 marks in your pocket by just looking at the graphs. Which amongst the following option is the correct graphical representation of Boyle's law? It's very simple. It would have been this if the sign would have been reverse. The greater 2 lesser 2 sign would have been reverse. Then if this is not the answer, which one is the exact answer? This is the exact answer. When the temperature is higher, the curve that you draw will be more closer to the pressure curve. So straightforward graphical question. Option C is correct. Option B would have been correct if the signs would have been reversed. Straightforward question. Okay. We are talking about S block elements here, carbon. We have coke here. Coke, we know, is an allotrope of carbon and it is a beautiful reducing agent. So coke can be used as a reducing agent. Diamond. Diamond, we know, is another allotrope of carbon whose hybridization is sp3. What about fullerene? We know about Buckminster fullerene, no? So Buckminster fullerene has a football or a cage-like structure or appearance. So it is cage-like molecule. What about graphite? Graphite is used as a dry lubricant for a very simple reason that the intermolecular forces in graphite is really low. What happens, sir? What happens when the intermolecular force is low? When the intermolecular force is low, one molecule tend to slide over the other molecule. So what happens when molecules slide over each other? When molecules slide over each other, they have less friction, which means they can be used as a lubricant. So that's the only logic here. Now you choose option A. A has 4. So A as 4. Done. B 1. Okay, B 1. C 4. C 4. Fullerene. So A 1 minute. A was 3. Sorry. A was 3 and B was 1. A was 3. B was 1. C is 4 and D is 2. So this will be the option. Okay. Now let's look at another question. Again, a very simple one from the first chapter of 11th standard from the Dalton's law theory, which select the correct statement from the following. Atoms of all elements are composed. Atoms of all elements are composed, you'll have 2 here, composed of 2 fundamental particles. Definitely not. If you take metals exist as, for that matter, noble gases also. Metals and noble gases exist as monatomic. So there is no compulsion that all fundamental particles should be composed of 2 units. That's wrong. The mass of an electron is 9.11 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. This statement is right. Or if they give it to you in grams, it will be 28 grams. All isotopes of the given element show same chemical property. This is also correct because all isotopes have the same number of electrons. If the number of electrons are same, the chemical properties also would be same. So this statement is also right. Protons and electrons are collectively known as nucleons. No, protons and neutrons together are known as nucleons. So basically the particles inside the nucleus is known as nucleons. Dalton's atomic theory regarded atom as the ultimate particle of mass. Yes, this was corrected by Berzelius. So Dalton considered atom to be the ultimate particle. This is also wrong. So we have option. Yes, it is right. He considered as the ultimate particle. Later it was modified by Berzelius. So you have B, C and E. So B, C and E is option A. Okay. So these were the first 10 questions that I got to discuss with you guys. Hope you have understood and you kind of got a clarity as to what the answers are for these questions. Now next you would have another teacher discussing the questions. Okay. So I now welcome Pallavi ma'am, my colleague from the chemistry department. She'll take over and start discussing a few more questions from the chemistry paper. Please ma'am.
Yes, hello everyone. A very good evening to all of you. I hope you guys did amazing job in your exams. Okay, so our very first question, which starts from 51, okay, is based on an organic test. Okay, so I hope the qualitative analysis really helped you. Now this Lasny's test for N and S. Please be very careful. There are 3 different products when it is only talking about nitrogen test, when there is only, it is only talking about sulfur test, and then there is a different product if both of the products are, if both detection is taking place simultaneously. Okay, so this would have been your answer when it was just talking about the nitrogen test. If it was just sulfur, it would have been this. But guys, please be very careful. This is the question for the detection of both the elements, nitrogen and sulfur. So your answer should be thiocyanate. So sulfur or thio. So I hope you have marked your right answer, option number A. Okay. So moving to next question very quickly. Yes. So this is coming straight from electrochemistry. Now, guys, it can be, there can be a possibility when you sometimes don't remember your formula, and there your units are going to be very helpful. There, your units are going to be very helpful. So if you see, this is the unit. What is this? The values for conductivity and the values for resistance is given. Now, sometimes we are very much confused with the formula. Like here, they are asking you for the value of cell constant, which is nothing but L upon A. Now, if you remember your formula, which is a direct relationship between conductivity and resistance, very good, way to go. In case, suppose you don't remember your formula, how your units are going to be helpful. So if you see your options, all the options are very straightforward, and the unit of all the answers are in centimeter inverse. Guys, I'm just telling you one way in the case where you don't know your formula. So all the answers are in centimeter inverse. That is the only possibility is they have taken out the product for resistance and conductivity. And you should know that it is nothing but, if you remember your basic formula, electricity class 10 formula, resistance is equal to rho L upon A. And if you take the reciprocal of resistivity, this is resistivity. So if you take your reciprocal, it is just conductivity, which we denote by kappa, and this is cell constant. From here, you will get your cell constant value, which is nothing but the product for resistance and conductivity. And hopefully you should get your option as straight multiplication. So you should get option D. Just calculate and just check. Okay. So moving on to next question. Question number 53. Guys, this is straight coming from chemical bonding. So if, please be very careful, they're asking you the species which is not having 8 electron, Okay. So first, just check what are the species: ammonia, aluminium chloride, barium chloride, CCl4 and PCl5. So there are some species here which is greater than 8 electron, which is less than 8 electron, which is equal to 8. Okay. So if you see, very simple compounds are given to you. This is a compound which is having 3 bonds with hydrogen and 1 lone pair. Okay. This is barium chloride. So this is 4 electron species straight. Just see the bonding and that will help you. Okay. This is going to be a 6 electron species. This is 4. Okay. This is exactly your 8 electron. Okay. And this is exceeding your 8 electron, number of 8 electron species. 5 Cl bonds are there. So this is going to be a 10 electron species. And this is 3 bonds are there with hydrogen. But be careful, there is just 1 lone pair also. So there are 2 compounds, NH3 CCl4, which is having 8 electron, but they are asking for not. So your answer should be 3 species which is not having 8 electrons. So option number 2. That's the right answer, guys. Okay. Moving on to next question. What is the next question? Okay, simply Lewis acid. What are Lewis acid? So Lewis acid are the species which are electron acceptors. Lewis acids are the species which is electron acceptor. And clearly you can see, including with the structure, clearly you can see BF3 is a Lewis acid here. Okay, so option number 4 should be a right answer. Isn't it too direct? Okay, so BF3 is a Lewis acid. Let's go to next question. Now, this question, you can just see, this is your coming from amines. Primary amine formation. Are they asking not primary amine? Yes. not primary amine. Okay, so where you don't see the possibility of primary amine as a product formation, so just see what are the options, what are the reactants. Your amide is there, where one side reduction is taking place, where one side in the presence of KOH. Then if you see very carefully option number C and 4, option number C and D, there is cyanide and then there is isocyanide. Okay, so guys, if you see this, whenever there is a reduction of amide, it is always going to form 1 degree amine. Okay, so this is definitely not your answer in both the cases, whether it's reduction or whether it's taking place in the presence of Br2KH. This is the only answer, nitrocyanide, where you don't get your 1 degree amine. Do let me know in the comments what is the product. If it's not 1 degree amine, what is the product? Okay, so option 4 should be your answer. Okay, let's move to next question. Yes. Now here you need to remember the pyridine structure. Let's go with the pyridine structure first. So what is the pyridine structure? It includes 1N and alternate double bonds. Now, if you see, there is one lone pair which is there with nitrogen. So guys, there are few questions where you can just apply straight elimination technique. Okay, this is that question which can help you with eliminating the options. What are those options? First, don't start counting your number of sigma and pi bond. It might take a little, it might consume your time. So first, just check the lone pair. There is only one lone pair in the pyridine structure. And what are those options? Option 1 and 4. So definitely your answer is going to be either 1 or 4. Okay, then you can go with the double bond, I mean the pi bond, number of pi bonds, because that you can clearly see it is way less than number of sigma bonds. And what is this? 3 pi bonds are there. So you don't even need to calculate your sigma bond. Please, these are the things which will, where your hard work will not be more important. Your smart strategy should be important. So first go with your lone pair, then go with your pi bond, and then go with your sigma bond. In fact, you don't need to count here sigma bonds. Okay, that's the very easy options are there. So option 4 is your right answer. Now going to next question. Okay. Now let's see. What is the question given? Okay. Let's see what is the structure given. This is coming from solid state. So see, what are the details given? B is a CCP structure. I can also say our FCC. Okay. Now you clearly know what is the effective number for FCC or CCP. Z equals to 4. Right? And A is, what is the detail given for A? That element B is forming CCP and atoms of A are coming at tetrahedral voids, but not straight tetrahedral. It is just 1/3 of tetrahedral. So first let's see if it is CCP or FCC. Your effective number is 4, and obviously there also octahedral voids will also be 4, but tetrahedral voids is going to be double. So that's 8. Now, if it is 8, you can see in the question it is given that A is just occupying 1/3 of 8, 1/3 of tetrahedral voids, which is 8/3. Now, they are just asking you the formula which will help you to find out the sum of these x and y, the stoichiometry. So let's see what is going to be the possible formula. A, 8/3. B is simply 4. Okay, because it's straight, B is occupying all the CCP structure corners. Okay, now if you just simplify, this is going to come as A 2/3 and B. Okay, it can go like this, simple mathematics, A2 B3. Now if you just check, they are not asking you the formula, they are asking you the sum of the stoichiometry, which is obviously 2 plus 3. So your answer is going to be option number 2. Okay, very direct, but it's just that you need to be aware of the CCP structure and the tetrahedral formula, tetrahedral void formula. Let's move to different next question. Okay, this is very simple, coming from atomic size. Now, if you just check the largest ion, what is the largest ion? Either it is going to be the anion with the largest charges, okay, or the cation with the smallest one. Okay, that decides the largest ionic size. Largest ionic size. Now, please see, they're asking you the noble gas configuration. Check with the options how each of them will form the noble gas formation. Okay. Na will only lose one electron. Okay. Fluorine will gain one electron, then it can achieve the noble gas configuration. Am I right? 2, 10. This is also 2, 8. What about oxygen? O2 minus. And what about nitrogen? Only if it gains 3 electron, it achieves the noble gas configuration. So this is the only option, guys. If you see, forget about the cation. Just check the anions. So anion with the largest, as I told you earlier, anions with the largest negative charge is going to achieve the largest size. Okay, largest size. So option 4 should be your right answer. Done? Next question. Okay, so this is not only just the use of any organic reaction, it also involves your simple mole concept. What is there in this question? Please see. Firstly, you need to identify what is this, which reaction is this. So if you see your reagents, NaOH and in presence of CO, first of all, what is this reagent called? It is known as soda lime. This is soda lime. So whenever you are taking your organic compound in the presence of soda lime, there is a step down reaction taking place. Step down, or you say degradation, which means -1 carbon will happen. And if you see, what is the formula for sodium ethanoate? CH3COONA. And simple hydrocarbon forms, which is obviously 2 carbon is there. Then what is the hydrocarbon with 1 carbon? That is simple methane. Okay, but please don't jump to the answer and just don't take out the weight of methane, which is 16. Read the question properly. They're asking you 2 moles of the product, and then you have to calculate the weight of the 2 moles of the product. So if you take 2 moles, the weight is going to be 32. So it's not 16, guys. Option 2 is not your answer. Option 3 is your right answer. Yes, let's go to the last question. That is question number 16, which is fully direct polymerization reaction. And that too, they have given you a specific product. Neoprene is your product. If if you remember your monomer straight, you know your answer. So this is a question where there should be no confusion. Neoprene is the polymer. If you remember your monomer for neoprene, what is that? Chloroprene. So guys, let me tell you, in fact, you will agree with me. The options are very straight. They are very clear. There's no confusion. There is only one option with chlorine in it. Am I right? There is only one option, and that is this one. This is the structure for chloroprene. No confusion here. If you remember the monomer name, you know your answer. So option C is the right answer, guys. Okay, so we are done with 51 to 60 questions. Let's move to different section. Let's take the another 10 questions. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Hi guys, welcome back again. So we have completed 20 questions so far. We'll be looking at another set of next 10 questions. Read the question very carefully. Considering the following reaction, identify the product P. It looks like a very straightforward, simple substitution kind of a reaction, but it is not so. We would feel that OH can be replaced by Br. If OH gets replaced by Br, this one of it should be the option. Yeah, this should be the option, but that's not the answer. In this particular context, you have something called as carbocation rearrangement, which I'll talk to you about briefly. So what happens is you have CH3 here, then you have CH. Once OH is removed, this carbon will bear a positive sign. That's why we call it a carbocation. Now what happens is, this is a primary carbocation. The moment hydrogen shifts to this, what we refer to as 1,2 hydride shift. So if hydrogen shifts, what really happens? I will have CH3, CH, I'm sorry, hydrogen is shifting, no? So you'll have only carbon attached to CH3. So the hydride is shifting. So this will have one more extra bond with hydrogen and CH3 finally. Now keep one thing in mind, hydrogen along with its bond has shifted to this carbon. Therefore, this carbon is losing one of its valence electron, hence making it a carbocation. What kind of a carbocation is this? This is a tertiary carbocation. How? Because the carbocation is attached to 3 other carbons. And we should know by now, tertiary carbocations are more stable compared to primary carbocation. So this process of carbocation rearrangement happens to attain stability. Now it is very simple. What is remaining now? Br is remaining. The Br will come and attack this carbon. If Br comes and attacks this carbon, this has to be the product. CH3, 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 CH3. Br will attack that carbon which bears a positive sign. Then you have CH2, CH3. This has to be the answer. Yes, it is a simple case of substitution, but substitution is followed by, carbocation rearrangement is followed by substitution. So this has to be the answer. Okay. This is the next question. Some tranquilizers are listed below. Which one from the following belongs to barbiturates? Simple. Barbiturate is a type of tranquilizer which is kind of used to artificially induce coma, or it is used as a sedative and it is also used for hypnotic treatment. Okay, this is the major role of barbiturates. This is just a memory based question. Out of all of these 4 compounds, veronal is the only compound which will belong to this class of chemicals called as barbiturates, which is a subset of tranquilizers. Straightforward question. Now look at this. Which of the following statement are not correct? Okay, are not correct. First one, hydrogen is used to reduce heavy metal oxides to metal. All of us know hydrogen is a beautiful reducing agent. So this statement is correct. Heavy water is used to study reaction mechanism. Heavy water is D2O. To study about how a reaction goes about conducting itself from the initial stage to the final stage, that is referred to as the mechanism. To study about mechanism of a chemical reaction, we definitely use heavy water, which is D2O. This statement is also correct. Third one, hydrogen is used to make saturated fats from oil. That is correct. It will convert the double and triple bonds into single bonds. That is why we say hydrogen is used to make saturated fats from oil. Next is hydrogen-hydrogen bond dissociation enthalpy. All of us know what is dissociation enthalpy, correct? It is the energy required to break 1 mole of bonds between different atoms. So they say the dissociation enthalpy of hydrogen is the lowest. This is wrong, guys. As a matter of fact, dissociation enthalpy of hydrogen is the highest. If you look at all single bonded species, dissociation constant for hydrogen is the highest. That is why it is quite stable and does not easily react with any other species. So first, option D, or statement D rather, is incorrect, and option E, hydrogen reduces oxides of metal that are more active than iron, wrong. This is also incorrect, because if you look at elements which are more reactive than iron, you have zinc, you have aluminium, you have potassium. All of these cannot be reduced by hydrogen, because hydrogen is less reactive than these particular metals, or these particular metals are more reactive than hydrogen, hence hydrogen cannot reduce them. So option, or rather the statement D and E is incorrect, which is option 4. So this is the logic behind this particular question. Next one, identify the product A in the following reaction. ನೋಡ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. If you have ZnNHE in the presence of concentrated HCl, ಯಾವ reaction ಇದು? ಯಾವ reaction ಇದು? This is Clemenson's reduction. Clemenson's reduction. Okay. Sir, Clemenson's reduction ಏನನ್ನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? What is it useful for? Clemenson's reduction is used to convert aldehydes or ketones into respective hydrocarbons. Very simple. It breaks this double bond oxygen, and in place of double bond oxygen, it will introduce hydrogen. It will introduce hydrogen. That is the only work of ZnHg and concentrated HCl. They're just reducing agents basically. Now, straightforwardly, you can say, okay, I had a carbon here. To that carbon, 2 hydrogens were added and an oxygen was removed. Okay, this matches. Here also, 2 hydrogens were added to 1 carbon and oxygen was removed. It matches. Straight away, this has to be the answer. This cannot be the answer because we are showing 2 carbons. Correct? So, see, here there is scope for considering this also as the answer. I'll tell you why. Because usually the free ends indicate CH3 group. Okay. If the free ends indicate CH3 group, you will have 2 carbons. Then this will be the answer. Or in some cases where they don't indicate anything, we say hydrogen is also applicable. So if I consider this as hydrogen, this will be the answer. If I consider this as hydrogen, this will be the answer. But if I consider this as carbon and the free end as methyl, this will be the answer. Out of my experience, I'm telling you, usually the free ends are considered as methyl groups. So there are 2 carbons here, 2 carbons here. Hence, this has to be the answer. Okay. So let us have that clarity. If the free ends are there, we will consider that as methyl, and if it is considered as methyl, this has to be the answer. Okay, let us not have any ambiguity with regards to this. So option 2 is the answer. Moving on. Again, a very simple question is asking you to predict the correct order of energies of molecular orbitals of N2. So it is sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s, sigma 2s, sigma star 2s, then pi 2px, pi 2py, sigma. It's a straightforward question. Sigma 1s is the lowest, sigma star 1s a little higher in energy, then comes sigma 2s, then comes sigma star 2s, then comes pi 2px, which is equal to pi 2py. Then above that comes sigma 2pz, and above sigma 2pz comes pi star 2px equals to pi star 2py, and above that finally comes sigma star 2pz. This is the order, and this matches with which option? 1, sigma star 1, 2s, sigma star 2s, pi 2px, pi 2py, then sigma 2pz, then pi star 2px, then pi star 2py, and then sigma star 2pz. So it matches with option 2. So this is to be a very simple question. You just had to remember the electronic configuration. 76. A question from biomolecules, which most PCM students would have found little difficult to begin with. Statement number 1. A unit, again, a completely factual question. A unit formed from the attachment of a base. When a nitrogenous base is attaching to the 1' position of sugar, it is known as a nucleoside. This is a correct statement. This statement is right. Okay. Statement 2. When nucleoside is linked to a phosphorus entity or a phosphorus acid at 5' position of sugar, then we get nucleotide. This is also correct, guys. Basically, what happens? A nitrogenous base attaches to a sugar. You get nucleoside. Nucleoside going forward attaches itself to a phosphorus acid entity or a phosphorus acid moiety. Together, we call this as nucleotide. So, nucleosides plus phosphorus acid will make it nucleotide. So both of this is right. Okay. Statement number 1, statement number 2, both of this is right. So which option? Statement 1 and statement 2 are true. So option 2. Next one. Intermolecular forces are forces of attraction and repulsion between interacting molecules that will include. Basically is asking which of these will act as intermolecular forces. Dipole-dipole force is a kind of intermolecular force basically seen between polar molecules, between a polar and a polar molecule. That is one of the intermolecular forces. Dipole induced dipole forces, that is again an answer because it is seen between a polar molecule and a non-polar molecule. Hydrogen bonding, yes, it is a type of intermolecular force which plays pivotal role in a lot of other physical properties. Then covalent bonding, these are not intermolecular forces, these are intramolecular. So two atoms combine together to form a molecule using covalent bonding. So this is not the answer. Dispersion forces also called as London forces, is seen between a non-polar molecule and a non-polar molecule. So since it's seen between two molecules, this will also act as intermolecular forces. So it has to be A, B, C and E. A, B, C and E, which is option 4. Okay. Next one. Try to understand the question properly because this links thermodynamics with electrochemistry. A straightforward electrochemistry question. There are two statements, assertion and reason. In equation delta G, which is Gibbs free energy, and it is equal to minus NF E cell. That's E cell. So N stands for number of electrons involved. Number of electrons involved. F is a constant, Faraday's constant, and E cell is again what you get from the values of the electrode potential of cathode and anode. Now remember, this is an extensive property. Gibbs free energy is an extensive property, whereas E cell is an intensive property. Okay. To just briefly tell you what intensive and extensive properties are, intensive properties are those which will not depend on the size of the sample, or in very simple words, that particular property which doesn't depend on the amount of a substance will be referred to as intensive. That which depends on the amount of the substance in the chemical reaction will be referred to as extensive. So this is extensive, this is intensive. Having understood this, look at this equation. In equation delta G equals to minus NF E cell, value of delta G depends on N. That is true because I've told you that it is an intensive property and this is a constant. So obviously the value of delta G has to depend on what? The number of electrons involved in the electrochemical reaction. So that statement is right. E cell is an intensive property and delta G is an extensive property. This is also right. The reason why the value of delta G will depend on N is because one is intensive, the other one is a constant. Hence, the value of this has to depend on the only person left whose value can be altered, which is minus N. So this statement is also right. So both A and B are right, and R is the correct explanation for A. Okay, so option B. Moving further, the relation between Nm, and he has very clearly told that Nm is magnetic quantum number, and L is azimuthal quantum number. The relationship is really simple. Magnetic quantum number M is equal to 2L plus 1, and here is asking us to take magnetic quantum number as Nm. So let's take it as Nm. So Nm equals to 2L plus 1. So we don't have a direct version of it. NL equals to L plus 2. That's not the correct one. So now we'll try to rearrange this equation in terms of L. So how do I rearrange? Simple. 2L equals to Nm minus 1. Therefore, L equals to Nm minus 1 divided by 2. So do we have that? Nm minus 1 divided by 2? Yes, option 2. L equals to Nm minus 1 divided by 2. A simple question again. Moving further, a question from, which is again quite easy for biology students. Which one of the following statement is correct? Magnesium plays roles in neuromuscular function and interneuronal transmission. This is not right because magnesium doesn't do this, calcium does. So this is incorrect. Second option, the daily requirement of magnesium and calcium in the human body is estimated to be around 0.2 to 0.3 grams. Let's come back to that question. All enzymes that utilize ATP in phosphate transfer requires calcium as the cofactor. It does not require calcium, it requires magnesium as the cofactor. So we know this is also not the answer. The bone in the human body is an inert, that's inert and unchanging substance. This is also wrong because this is very basic. We know that as we age, the bones are remodeled, no? So it's not an unchanging substances, it definitely changes. So if I eliminate, even though you don't remember this, you wouldn't have paid too much attention to these minute values, but by eliminating the wrong options, we get to know that this has to be the right answer. Okay, so I've covered the next 10 questions. So we will have one of our biology faculty, Mr. Vicky Waswani sir, to discuss some important questions from the biology part of today's NEET paper. I welcome you, sir.
One 51. Yeah, so we'll be going live with the zoology portion. Okay, so some questions, I think maybe one or two questions maybe from botany also. So we'll keep discussing that also. I'll just tell the answers for that. Yeah, hello everyone. So we are going to discuss the zoology question paper now. So let's start with the first question, that is 151. So you can easily see this is a very easy question from human physiology. Okay, so let's see peptic cells. So peptic cells are also called as what? Chief cells, correct? Peptic cells are also called as chief cells. So these chief cells produce what? Proenzyme. If you remember, proenzyme, that is pepsinogen. So you'll easily mark it what? That peptic cells for what? That is proenzyme. So you're getting it A as 3. Remember, A as 3. So no other option is there which says A as 3. So you got easily answer now. Just confirm it now. So goblet cells, so you know goblet cells secrete what? Mucus, correct? So goblet cells will go for mucus, that is 1. Okay, so you got the B as 1. Oxyntic cells. So oxyntic cells or the parietal cells, you know, they secrete HCl or the Cass's intrinsic factor. Okay, so what's the answer for this? You see, C has answer as that this one, you know, that is HCl and intrinsic factor. So what does the intrinsic factor do? It is helpful for the absorption of vitamin B12. This was a question which came in NEET 2018 also, if you remember. Okay, so here you got CS4 and D, that is hepatic cells. It goes clearly with hepatic cells will produce what? Bile. So answer will be your fourth option. You can easily deduce the answer. Got my point? Very easy, correct? Yes, we'll go with the next question now. Okay, so next question you see 152 was the question here. You see, it's a very easy question from class 12th. Okay, so from class 12, this is question, and that says about the STDs, correct? And it is clearly mentioned in NCRT. Statement is mentioned in NCRT that which diseases won't be cured if they are not diagnosed early. So they are usually viral diseases, correct? So let's see, very easy question. So which of the following, you see here, which one of the following common sexually transmitted disease is completely curable? So you can completely cure the disease which is bacterial disease, but not the viral disease. It's clearly mentioned in the NCRT. So easy question. Okay. So what are the viral diseases and which is the bacterial disease? If you can easily identify, I think it's very easy to identify. See, HIV is again a viral. Genital herpes is also what? Viral. Even the hepatitis B also viral. So you can't cure these. They are not curable. So answer will be what? Simply gonorrhea. Gonorrhea is a bacterial disease. So it's bacterial. Others are what? Viral. So such a easy question, you see. Such a easy question.
Okay, so biology was not very tough. It was mostly from NCERT, correct? So let's move to the next question now. Yeah. So next question you see, beta. What's the next question? Here you see, select the correct group or the set of Australian marsupials. See, now, if this comes to me, even I will not be able to answer easily. Okay, because the problem is they're talking about the Australian marsupials, correct? So if you see, lemur is a mammal, so this is answer is wrong because he's asking about marsupials, correct? Next comes the Tasmanian wolf, bobcat, marsupial mole. I think we'll keep this. Numbat is spotted cuscus. The numbat is spotted cuscus. They are, one is a Australian marsupial, other is a placental mammal. So we can't go with this also. So we will not go with this answer. Next is the mole, flying squirrel, and the Tasmanian tiger cat. So you see, whenever you have placental mammal, so this is also placental mammal. This is also a placental mammal, correct? Even the numbat is also a placental mammal. So you see, placental mammals are excluded. So this is called as process of elimination. So in the process of elimination, what you've done, you have taken out the placental mammals. Now you'll be going for what? What the question asks, select the correct group or set of Australian marsupials. So which is the set of marsupials here? You easily got the answer. That is Tasmanian wolf, bobcat, and marsupial mole. So this is how you go with the answers. This is called as process of elimination. Means you have eliminated the placental mammals and you easily got what? The marsupials. Got my point? Let's come to the next question, beta. Very easy questions. But I think many students would have done this question wrong. I can challenge. Okay, even after just passing boards now also, some students would have done wrong. Come on, let's talk about the next question now. This is from human physiology. Chapter is body fluids and circulation. So here what he's asking, you see, he's asking about P wave. So P wave is for what? Depolarization of atria. So simply you will have an option here. You can see depolarization of atria is given. Simple. So you have to match with P wave as 3. Got it clear, Idam? So A goes for what? 3. You can see here. There's only one option anyway, but still we will cross check. Okay. So Q wave, you know that Q wave, that is QRS wave, is for the depolarization of ventricles. So that means Q wave, the depolarization will start. Correct or not? So let's see. Q wave is the beginning of systole. They haven't mentioned which systole, but you understand it should be usually ventricular systole. Got my point? Let's come to the QRS now. So QRS, as I discussed now, it will be for the depolarization of ventricles. So let's make it as B as 1. So you got B as 1 and C as 4. And simply you got the T wave. So T wave is for what? Repolarization of ventricles. Correct? Repolarization. So you got simply the answer as 2. So you see, question was very easy. If you know one answer also, simply if you know the A answer as P wave is depolarization of atria, you got the answer. Such a simple question they gave you, see. Such an easy question. Only one option you need to know. Okay? So such an easy question here. Come to the next one now, beta. Yes. Now we will go for 155 question. So what does the 155 question says here? Let's see. Okay. So 155 question says, okay, it says about matching. Okay. So ringworm. You know the ringworm, the genuses. Which genuses cause a ringworm? You know the trichophyton. Okay. The micro ones are there, microphytons. So microphytons and trichophytons, these are for what? These are for the ringworms. They will cause a ringworm, correct? So it is trichophyton. Simply you got it. Microsporum and trichophyton, correct? And next is filariasis. Filariasis also called as elephantiasis, and this is caused by Wuchereria bancrofti, correct? So simply you got what? Ringworm as trichophyton, that is A as 2. Filariasis, that is Wuchereria bancrofti, that is 3. So 2 and 3. Malaria is by what? The malarial parasite is Plasmodium. So you got Plasmodium somewhere. So that is now 2, 3, 4. Simply you got 2, 3, 4. Okay. And next pneumonia. Pneumonia is by Haemophilus influenzae. So 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. That's simple answer. You got it. Got it? Again, you can check it. 2, 3, 4, and 1. Simple. Okay? Got it? So ringworm by what? Trichophyton. Filariasis by what? Vauchereria, which is a roundworm. Malaria, Plasmodium is a pathogen. Pneumonia, pathogen is Haemophilus influenzae. So they have talked about the pathogens, and you have easily done the matching here. I think this was an easy question because it was from class 12th, and most of the class 12th revision you did for the boards also, correct? Let's move to the next question now. Okay, let's see the one of the easiest question again. This is from human reproduction, and it's an easy question because the vas deferens, if you see, the vas deferens takes a loop around the urinary bladder and comes and joins the seminal vesicle here, correct? So whenever it joins a vesicle, seminal vesicle, the ampulla of the vas deferens joins the seminal vesicle and forms a duct called as ejaculatory duct. Okay, so absolutely the statement is correct. I think most of you know it very well because it's from class 12 again. So cavity of the cervix is called cervical canal. Obviously, that will be called as cervical canal, which along with vagina forms the birth canal. So it's absolutely correct statement. Okay, cervical canal and the vagina together will form the birth canal, correct? So let's talk about the options now. So both are correct. So wherever you see both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, you go for it. Is it okay? So we just solved the 156th question, correct? So let's come to the next one now. Let's come to the next one. Yeah, 157, correct? So 157 is from botany, but still what we'll do is we'll just check those statements. RNA mutates at a faster rate, correct? So obviously RNA will mutate at a very fast rate. That's understood, correct? Because the genome is like that. So viruses having RNA genome and a shorter lifespan mutate and evolve faster. So this statement is also correct. So we'll go for the option as both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. Is it okay with everyone? Yeah. So any doubts you have, you can put in the chat. Okay, you can put in the chat. So we'll be keeping a check on the chat also. If you have any doubts, if you feel like means if you want some more information, just put in a chat. Okay, come on. Now this question is from Animal Kingdom, correct? This question is from Animal Kingdom, first year, that is class 11th. So radial symmetry. Now radial symmetry, you know very well, that is found in the Ctenophora, the Cnidaria, and the adult echinoderms, because in larval echinoderms you have what? You have bilateral. Okay, so let's see now. So echinodermata, it says it's not found in, but the question is it's not found in adults of which phylum? So as I told you, it's found in what? Coelentrates, that is Cnidaria. Okay, Ctenophora, absolutely correct. Adult echinodermata, absolutely correct. So it is saying not found in adult. So this is found in adult. So hemichordata. Okay, hemichordata will have what? Bilateral symmetry. Okay, so many students, suppose if they don't know this, if they don't know the answer, so they can go for other way also. If you can solve in other way also. You know that hemichordates have what type of symmetry? It's bilateral symmetry. So in that way also you can go and approach the answer. It's not like you should know about all these three. Got it? Come on, next question we'll see. Hope you are getting it. Hope you're getting your answers clear. The way it has to be solved also, it has to be understood how you should solve those questions, correct? Let's talk about now the next question, that is assertion and reason question. So whenever assertion and reason question comes, just read the statement or the assertion and reason properly. So let's see. Assertion A says nephrons are the two types. So nephrons are obviously of two types. One is cortical, one is juxtamedullary. So let's see. They are cortical and juxtamedullary based on their relative position in the cortex and medulla. Obviously, the cortical nephrons will be mostly in the cortex region, and the juxtamedullary will be in the junction of cortex and medulla. Got it? So let's talk about, this is the absolutely correct statement. Next comes the juxtamedullary nephron, this is the reason, have short loop of Henle. See, juxtamedullary nephrons have long loop of Henle. So they have trapped you here. Okay. So you can see how they have trapped you. They have just written juxtamedullary nephrons have short loop. So this is the wrong answer. So what answer will go for? Assertion is correct and reason is wrong. So where you can see that the assertion is true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. So we'll go for what? Third answer. Got my point? Okay. Clear? No, we'll go for fourth because it says A is true, but R is false. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. So let's clean this one. Yeah. So we'll go for what? We'll go for fourth option because third option says both are true, but R is not the correct explanation. But we have seen that, nephrons are of two types. The assertion is correct, but the reason is wrong because it says short loop here. Okay. So we'll go for the fourth one. Clear? So we just completed 159th question. We'll go with 160 now. Okay. Hope you're getting this answers. 160 now. 160 is vital capacity of lungs is. So see, now they have tried to confuse you maximum here. Okay, everyone knows that IRV plus ERV plus the TV is equal to what? Vital capacity. So it's clearly given it. IRV plus ERV plus TV. Okay, inspirated is the volume, expirated is the volume, and tidal volume is equal to what? Vital capacity. Or you can also say TLC minus VC. TLC minus RV is equal to what? TLC minus RV is equal to VC. That means residual volume, when it is taken out from TLC, it becomes vital capacity. But here, they have tried to confuse you. Okay. So this can absolutely, because it is incomplete because IRV plus ERV plus TV should be there. So it's not there. So you exclude this option. IRV plus ERV plus TV plus RV. So if we go for this, it becomes the total lung capacity. That is also wrong. But how smartly see they have tried to confuse a student. IRV plus ERV plus TV minus RV. What was the need of writing minus RV? There was no need because you're not going to subtract RV from that and then calculate the vital capacity. Simply in NCERT, you see, they have clearly mentioned IRV plus ERV plus TV. So whenever you have these kind of questions, you don't have to get into too much complexity. Whatever given in NCERT, just go with that. Okay. So what we got for this 160, that is 1. Okay. So 160 also we have solved it. Let's move to what? 161 now. Yeah. So 161 is again from botany, but let's discuss it. Okay. So which of the following are not considered as a part of endomembrane system? So, very easy question. You know that GERL complex. Okay. So what is GERL complex? That is Golgi, endoplasmic reticulum, and lysosomes. Correct? So that is the only thing which comes in what? Endomembrane system. Correct? Okay. So Golgi, endoplasmic reticulum, and lysosome. Clear? Yes. I think. Okay. So let's talk about this. What are the options now? Golgi, obviously it will be there. So he is talking which are not considered. Endoplasmic reticulum considered. Lysosome is not written. So mitochondria not considered. Chloroplast not considered. Peroxisomes not considered. So you have A, C, E, which is not considered. You have to be very specific. See, they are asking not. They are not asking which are considered. So you go for A, C, E option here. So answer is your third one. Got it? Easy now? Okay, very nice, very nice. Let's move to the next question now, beta. Okay, let's see. Again, this is from what? Botany, but let's do it this also. So 162 question you see now. So 162 question says that match the list with list 2. Okay, so you have to see list 1 with list 2, correct? So let's see, very easy question it is. Once you know a little bit of genes. So what is gene A, gene B, gene 3? If you know only this, boy, someone has done this. Very easy. Gene Z is for what? Beta galactosidase. If you know this, I think you know the answer. Correct or not? Simple. Such an easy question they gave. Okay. Gene Z codes for what? Beta galactosidase. Such an easy answer. You see, if you know one option, you got the right answer. Got it? Come on, let's move to the next question now. 163. This is from the Human Health and Disease. Okay, and let's see what they mean by this. Let's talk about it. Yeah. So you have to again match the list 1 with the list 2. Correct? Okay. Let's see. So heroin is a diacetyl morphine. Correct? Which will cause slowing of the body action. Correct? It will depress the system. Okay, so let's wait for some time. Let's come to other options also, and then we'll go with the final answer. So see, morphine, very nicely, you know that morphine is a painkiller. Correct? So when morphine is a painkiller, you just come for what? D is 3. So where you find D is 3, you see, simply you get the right answer. The complete answer becomes right. So this is how you should approach the answer. Anyway, but don't go for that. First, you confirm your answers. So D, morphine is a painkiller, obviously. Cocaine is usually interfering with your what? It is interfering with your, what you call dopamine neurotransmitter. Correct? It is interfering with your dopamine neurotransmitter. So it's C is for what? The dopamine. Somewhere you see dopamine here. So C is for what? 4th. Correct? Next is marijuana. So marijuana is a cannabinoid. Okay, marijuana is a cannabinoid. So it will have the effect on what? Cardiovascular system. So let's talk about the B as what? B as 1. And the heroin. Heroin will slow down the body functions because it's a depressant. Got it? Very easy question. Okay, so let's move to the next one now. Now come on, 164. It is from the skeletal system. So let's talk about this also. Again, it's very easy. So let's see. They talk about cartilaginous joint. Now, cartilaginous joint, where are they found in the body? You have to think about it. Just a glance, if you know, means little bit of information you have, that where is the cartilaginous joint found in your body. So you know very well, it is found in the adjacent vertebrae, correct? So wherever you see adjacent vertebrae, you click it. So this is the adjacent vertebrae keyword. So these keywords are there which can help you to get the right answer. So you got A as 2. So A as 2, you got in 2 options now. Okay. So let's move to the next one now. Ball and socket joint. So ball and socket in the pectoral girdle between the humerus and the scapula, means humerus and this glenoid cavity, or it is found in the hip girdle, correct? That is pelvic girdle. So let us see pectoral girdle. You see the keyword pectoral girdle. Nowhere you find any girdle. So you go for what? This is a keyword. So in this way you will get the right answer. You see, you go for the 4th one. Now you see, you got the 4th one. So you see now they are smart. They're writing in 2 options. They're writing the B as 4. Correct. Let's come to the C1 now. Fibrous joint. Fibrous joint are immobile. First, you should know this. They are what? Immobile. So when they are immobile, they are found in what? In the skull. Okay. So wherever you find the skull as a keyword, you can go with that. Okay. So you got a C as 1. Now you see, you will differentiate here. C as 1. So you got the right answer as 3rd, which you see this boy has gone wrong here. They have put somewhere A. That means they got confused with this one. Correct? And saddle joint, everyone knows it is found in the thumb. And in the carpal and metacarpal of thumb, you have the saddle joint. So you got the right answer. You see, cross check also. D is for what? 3. So D is for 3. So this boy, you see, somewhere there, someone has made this wrong. Got it? So be very careful. Come on. So let's discuss the next one, beta. Yeah, this is from human physiology. Okay. The excretory products. So this is from the hormones chapter. This is from the hormones chapter, that is chemical coordination. So CCK, that you know, cholecystokinin. So cholecystokinin will never work singly. It always works like CCK-PZ. Whenever I teach in my class, I tell them that CCK is not going to work singly. Okay, it is always going to work along with a pancreozymin coming from the pancreas. Okay, so here you see CCK and PZ. Wherever you see pancreas, you got the answer. Clear? Next comes the GIP. GIP is gastric inhibitory peptide. So it is going to inhibit something. So gastric inhibiting what? Gastric glands. So we'll go for third. ANF. ANF is against the RAS system. That is renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. Okay. So ANF comes from what? Atrial walls of the heart. So you have the heart here. You can go with CS2. So let's find CS2. Where you find? Here is CS2. So this is the option which we'll go for. This is the answer. ADH. ADH is what? Anti-diuretic hormone. It is also called as vasopressin. It will work on what? Kidneys. So answer for D is 1 here. Okay. And B is what? B is your 3. That is gastric glands. And A is for what? 4th, pancreas. So he has done correct. Got it? See, questions are not that tough. If you have the basic knowledge also, you can do it. If you have the basic knowledge, if you have the basic knowledge of the physiology, how it works in your body, you can easily answer it. Correct? Let's come to the next question. That is your botany. That is 166. So 166 is your botany question. You can simply go for the answer. Let's see what's the question here. Which of the following statements is correct? Algal blooms decrease fish mortality. Okay, so algal blooms are not going to decrease, they're going to increase the fish mortality, means death of the fishes. Eutrophication refers to increase in domestic sewage and wastewater in lakes. So eutrophication doesn't refers to increase in domestic sewage and wastewater in lakes only. Okay, eutrophication means that how the nitrogenous compounds come and how those, the algal bloom starts. Okay, so we'll go for the next option. Biomagnification refers to increase in concentration of the toxicant at successive trophic levels. You know the 10% law. Okay, so obviously the biomagnification is going to increase at the each successive trophic level. Okay, and will be the highest in the fourth trophic level. So you go for the answer as third. Easy answer. Come on, easy question, I think. Come on. So let's talk about the next question. That is 167. 167 is just matching question here. You just see it's a botany again. Okay. Okay, 167 option we'll see later on. Come on. So it's a anyway botany question. 168. In which blood corpuscles the HIV undergoes replication? It's a very important question here. You see, in which blood corpuscle the HIV is going to undergo for replication. So there are two cells. One is macrophages, other is your helper T cells. Correct? So here is the helper T cells. So helper T cells, you got it. You haven't got the macrophage, you got the helper T cells. So helper T cells, they are going to replicate in the human body. Correct? And that is why the T helper cells or the macrophages and T helper cells, they are called as a factory, where these HIV will replicate fast. Clear, beta? Come on, next question we'll see now. 169, I think, correct? Okay, 1 minute. Yeah, 169. 169, yeah. So let's see. You have to match the list 1 with list 2. So if you have a basic idea what is fovea, fovea is found in the eye, correct? And that is the region which has only the cones. The fovea has only the cones. So maximum resolution will be in the fovea, correct? So let's talk about anything resolution, anything talking about resolution keyword. Here is the resolution. You got fovea, answer you got A for what? Third option. Anyway, we'll cross check it. Anyway, you got the answer, you see. A is 3. So you got the answer also, but go for cross checking always. Iris. Iris is the visible colored portion of the eye. Not the colored portion. It's a visible colored portion. So they have clearly mentioned visible colored portion. Okay. And those iris muscles are going to control the diameter of the pupil also. So that's also mentioned here. Very good. Because it has two types of muscle. One is circular muscles, one is radial muscles. Correct? Blind spot. Blind spot is the area where there's no image formation, because from there the nerves are going out. Correct? So let's see blind spot, point where the optic nerve leaves the eyeball. So this is option C, will go for fourth. So C is going for fourth, B is going for one, and sclera has the white portion, okay, which is made up of collagen. So here you can see it's made up of dense connective tissue. Okay, this is the external layer. So sclera will go for last. Second option is the correct option because D matches with what? 2. Got it now? Easy. I think it's not tough. Okay, come on. So let's move to the next question now. That is 170. Okay, so 170 question. What it talks about? 170 question is again, I think, from botany only. So let's see what answer can be there. So in prokaryotes, the positively charged DNA is held with some negatively charged proteins called nucleoids. Correct? Okay. So how in prokaryotes will you have histones? No. So you don't have any histones. In eukaryotes, the negatively charged DNA is wrapped around the positively charged histone octamer to form nucleosome. This is also a wrong statement. So you go for what? Both statements are false here. Okay. So we'll go for what? Both statements are false in case of 170. Got it? Come on, 171. It's a bit, not clear, but still we'll try to manage it. Let's see. Come on. So I'll just read it. Given below are the two statements. One is statement 1, other is statement 2. So statement 1 says ligaments, okay, ligaments are dense connective tissue. Statement 2 says cartilage is dense irregular. Okay, irregular tissue. Sorry, it says regular tissue. 1 minute. It says regular tissue. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Yeah. So it says dense regular tissue. So it says regular, but you know that there are skin and cartilage are irregular tissues. Correct? Skin and cartilage are irregular. So this is absolutely wrong here. Statement 2 is wrong. Now comes the statement 1. Ligaments are dense connective tissue. But it says dense irregular tissue. I was not able to read it. Okay. So let's talk about, it says what? Dense irregular now. So it's also wrong because ligaments can never be irregular. They are stretch of fibers. So they can never be what? Irregular. So they are what? Regular. So both statements will be false in this case. So we'll see which option is that which says both are false. Answer is third. So both statement 1 and statement 2 are false here. You got it? Very easy question. Okay, come on. So let's move to the next one. That is again botany. So I think the question is from genetics. Okay. And what he is asking in that, which one of the following symbols represent mating between relatives in human pedigree analysis? So you know that is consanguineous marriages. So consanguineous marriages will have double, you can see there should be 2 rows here. This is 1 row. So this is ruled out. This will be the answer here. Very easy question. Either easiest question in the complete biology section. Okay, 173 now. So what does a 173 question says? Let's talk about it. 173 says, which one of the following techniques does not serve the purpose of early diagnosis? Now, many students did mistake. I saw this boy also has done mistake here. Okay. How you do mistake is actually, he is asking what? Which of the following techniques does not serve? You see, does not serve. He is asking does not serve. And this boy, someone has answered. He has gone for enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay. That is actually the technique for early treatment. So this is absolutely correct. But he is asking about not. That means wrong answer. So recombinant DNA technology, yes. ELISA, yes. But serum and urine analysis, yeah, this you go for clinical things, you don't go for early treatment. When you are diagnosed with something, when you have some problem, then you go for blood test or urine test. Or if you don't have any problem and you unnecessarily go for the blood test or urine test, you only go when you have some symptom or you have some nausea like feeling or something, then you go for it. So answer is absolutely this one, because he's saying not, which will not serve the early means diagnosis in the early stages. So that should be your third option. Got my point? Serum and urine analysis. Come on, next question is 174 here, which is I think from the animal kingdom. So it says match list with the list one with list two. So you can see a bit of clarity is not there, but I'll write it. So this is tinea, and this is the paramecium, I think. Yeah, paramecium here. Okay, I'm writing it here. Paramecium. And here is your periplaneta. Okay. And here is your ferritima. So let's match it now. So tinea is a platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes have what? Excretory organ as flame cells. So A will go for 3. A is going for 3. You see the right answer you got. Still we'll cross check it. Paramecium. Paramecium has a condyle vacuole, correct? Got it? So paramecium will go for condyle vacuole. That is B is 2 here. Next is periplaneta. Periplaneta is what? Cockroach. So periplaneta excretory organ will be what? Uricose glands. Got it? So answer for C will be 4th. Got the right answer again. Ferritima. Ferritima is an earthworm and it belongs to annelids. So excretory organ for annelids was nephridia. So we'll go for D as 1. You got the right answer as 4th. Okay. See, the questions were so easy. If you have little bit idea about the animals here, you can easily do it. And this, all these things were given in your chapter called as excretory products and the elimination. On the first page itself, they have mentioned which phylum will have which excretory organ. They have clearly mentioned in that. Okay, come on. So we'll go for the next question now. What's the next question? You see, it's 175 here, and it is talking about the amniocentesis. Okay, it's from reproductive health. Sorry, it's 176 of the botany, I think. Yeah. Yeah, we did this one, 175. Yeah, 175. So 175 is on the from the reproductive health chapter. Come on. So let's talk about. They're talking about the assertion and reason question, correct? So assertion says amniocentesis for sex determination is one of the strategies of reproductive and child health care programs, that is RCH program. So if you apply your little bit brain, will amniocentesis help in any way checking the population or something? It was never meant for this. Even the MTPs also were not meant for this. So amniocentesis was a technique by which in the early stages we can check if there is some genetic disorder in a developing embryo, okay, in the developing fetus. Is there any genetic issues, so that we can get rid of, or you can just be prepared for that. Okay, the parents should be prepared for that. So not correct. Okay, so amniocentesis for sex determination is one of the strategies. If you so say, I'll never agree with that. Okay, so this is absolutely wrong. But anyway, so let's talk about the next reason now. Ban on amniocentesis checks the increasing menace of female feticide. Yes, in India, it's absolutely correct, because amniocentesis was a very good technique which was to detect any genetic defect in the early stage of embryo or fetus. But India, what they did, they just tried to check the X and Y chromosome if she is female. So many places like Haryana and all, they went for what? Female feticide, which was a very bad, means image we had in international community also. So this is absolutely correct here. So ban on amniocentesis has a check on what? that is menace of female feticide. So this is correct, but the first one is wrong. So let's talk about it. Assertion should be wrong, but the reason should be correct. So I think you can find somewhere. Yeah, the first option is A is false, but R is true. Got it? Very nice. Come on. So let's move to the next question now. 176. So 176 is from the botany section. We'll just go with the answers here. So 176, the two statements are given. Okay. One is a statement. One says the electrostatic precipitator is most widely used in thermal power plant. Obviously, it should be used, correct? Because you have to get rid of the soot. Statement 2 says electrostatic precipitator in thermal power plant removes ionizing radiations. Never it can remove ionizing radiations. It can remove only particulate particles. It can't remove the ionizing radiations. So answer is what? Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. So you go for the fourth answer here. Okay. So 176 will be fourth answer. Got it? Okay. 177. Now 177, very good question they gave from the human physiology. Let's talk about it, beta. So once the undigested and unabsorbed substances enter the cecum. So when they are coming to cecum, that means they're coming from what? The small intestine. And which is the last part of the small intestine? That is ileum. So from ileum, they are coming to what? Cecum. So their backflow should be prevented by. Their backflow should be prevented by. So let's talk about, so it should be ileum and cecum. So it should not go again back to ileum. So it should be ileocecal valve. It should not be a sphincter. Remember. So sphincters are ruled out. Sphincters are ruled out. Sphincters are ruled out. It should always be a valve because valve is always one-way opening. So you got very easy answer, ileocecal valve. Why ileocecal valve? Because cecum and ileum, between the ileum and cecum, that valve should be present, which will prevent the backflow. Got it? Clear? Come on. Next question we'll see. It is 178. Okay. So 178 question you see was that it is from the human reproduction chapter. So match list with the list 1 with list 2. Vasectomy. So as it says vasectomy, so we are just going to cut the vas deferens. So wherever you surgical method. So surgically you are going to what? Cut the vas deferens. That is called as vasectomy. So it's a surgical method. Next comes the coitus interruptus. In the coitus interruptus, what is happening? It is a type of natural method of contraception. Okay. In the coitus interruptus, you know that coitus is not suggested between the 10th and 17th day of the menstrual cycle. Okay, because there only the maximum chance are there to have the sperm and egg should be meeting that time only. So that is again a natural. So we'll go for A as 3, B as 4. So A as 3, B as 4. You got it here. Cervical caps. Cervical caps are always a barrier method. Okay. Cervical caps are a barrier method because they will not allow the sperm and egg to meet. So that is second. C will go for second. Saheli. Saheli, it is a non-steroidal drug. It was prepared in Lucknow by CDRI. So it is again an oral method. Means it's a pill. So Saheli is a pill which is taken orally once a week. Okay. Got my point here? Let's come to the next question now. So 179. Okay. So 179, very good question they gave. Very good question from biomolecules. Okay. Excellent question. And it's absolutely the exact statement they have taken from NCERT and they have put up here. Simple. Let's see how. The NCERT statement says low temperature preserves the enzyme in a temporarily inactive state. Yes. When the temperature is low, the protein will be in an inactive state. But when the temperature is increased, it will completely denature the protein. It will be denaturing the protein. So it's absolutely correct. And as such, the statement has come from the NCERT. They have put up here only. Next is the statement 2. When the inhibitor closely resembles a substrate. Yes, when the inhibitor will closely resemble a substrate in its molecular structure and inhibits the activity of the enzyme, it is known as competitive inhibitor. Again, the exact same statement which is written in NCERT, they have put up here. Now you have to see, this is the statement is also correct, this statement is also correct. So we have to see that anything is matching. Are they talking about the reasoning here? No. So we have to just see where the statements are correct. So answer is both statement 1 and statement 2 are true here. Got it? And exact that statement has come from NCERT. So see, that is why we emphasize on studying NCERT, because as such the statements may come from NCERT. And I'm sure that some students who have not read NCERT properly, they may would have made a mistake or somewhere. Okay, come on. So let's talk about the next question now. So 180 question that says which of the following is not a cloning vector. So cloning vectors, it is PBR 322, okay, PBR 322, BAC, that is bacterial artificial chromosome, YAC, that is yeast artificial chromosome. But do you think that probe will be a kind of cloning vector? Is it going to clone? Or probe you are going to use in a PCR or something, which will decide the kind of segment of DNA you are checking for. So probe is not going for a cloning vector. It's not a cloning vector. It is something which is going to read your sequence and check that sequence which you want. Okay, so that's a probe there. Come on, next question you see now, 181. So 181 is a very good question again. And it maybe many students would have made mistake, but it's a very easy question, I think. Okay, and it was from the chapter called Locomotion and Movement. Which of the following functions is carried out by the cytoskeleton in a cell? So it can be transportation, it can be nuclear division, or protein synthesis, or motility. So here you see nuclear division is anyway ruled out because that's not going to be with the help of cytoskeleton. But in some cases, like when they are going for this, what do you call, when they are going for dividing in a anaphase, that may sometimes require some microfilaments, so that will rule out here still. Protein synthesis anyway not with the help of cytoskeleton. So transportation, yes, some transportation can happen, but it's still not a very good option here. So motility can be the right answer here. Why? Because in muscles also you see they have cytoskeleton. So in a muscle cell also you have what? Cytoskeleton, which is helping in what? A kind of motility. So if something has to move in a cell, definitely it has to have the help of cytoskeleton. So we'll go for answer as fourth. Okay. Now let's talk about the 182. See, now they ask some questions from biomolecules, correct? And there's a very important question here, you see how smartly they have asked this. So given below are two statements here. Statement 1 says a protein is imagined as a line. This is as such a statement from NCERT. A protein is imagined as a line, and the left end represented by the first amino acid is a C terminal. Here you see there's a trap. So left end will always be your N terminal, not the C terminal. And the last, that is right end, by the last amino acid always should be what? C terminal. So this is absolutely a wrong statement. Okay, they have taken the NCERT statement and they have changed these two terms. Got it? Statement 2. I think this was not mentioned in maybe same chapter, but somewhere else you have this, I think genetics. So adult human hemoglobin consists of 4 subunits, that is 2 subunits of alpha type and 2 subunits of beta type. This is absolutely correct statement, because the hemoglobin is a quaternary protein. It has 2 subunits of alpha type and 2 subunits of beta type. Alpha type has 121 amino acid and 126 are present in the beta type. So this is absolutely correct statement. So you'll go for what? Statement 1 is false, but statement 2 is true. Got it? Easy, I think. Come on. Let's move to the next question now. So let's talk about a very good question here they gave from human reproduction. Correct? Let's see. Given below are 2 statements here. One is labeled as assertion, other is reason. So assertion we'll read first. endometrium is necessary for the implantation of blastocysts. It's absolutely correct statement, because if the endometrium is not there, where the implantation will happen? Correct. Next comes the reason. In the absence of fertilization, the corpus luteum degenerates. That causes a disintegration of the endometrium. So this is, you see, explaining the first part. It's explaining the assertion also. Because in the reason, if you just read the reason now, in the absence of fertilization, yes, in the absence of fertilization, the corpus luteum will degenerate. If the corpus luteum degenerates, it will cause what? Disintegration of the endometrium. So if the endometrium is disintegrated, blastose means implantation will not happen. So this is completely and completely explaining it. It's supporting the first statement. So whenever you find that state reason is supporting the assertion, you'll go for the both options are correct and it is explaining it. Got it? So let's see. Anything is there like that? Let's talk about it. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. So we'll go for what? Second answer. Got it? Come on, be very careful while solving these questions. You have to be very careful here. Okay, so let's talk about the next question now. What's the next question? Yes, this is from genetics again, and it is NCERT based question. In NCERT, exact those statements are mentioned. In genetics, you see, in the Down syndrome, they have clearly mentioned broad palm. Okay, with palm crease. With palm crease, if they have broad palm, it is the answer should be what? Down syndrome. So Down syndromes, the picture also, the photo also they have made. Okay, in which they have shown you the palm crease. Okay, and the broad palm. So you go for Down syndrome here. Someone has marked, I think, wrong, but it should be Down syndrome here. Got it? So answer should be Down's syndrome. Come on, the next question now, 185. So 185 question, what's that? Again from reproduction. Let's see here. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the female reproductive cycle? So let's see. In non-primate mammals, cyclic changes during reproduction are called estrous cycle. Absolutely correct statement, because non-primates, it's called estrous cycle. In primates, it is called as menstrual cycle. Correct? Now, this is absolutely correct. First menstrual cycle begins at puberty and it's called menopause. You see, it's not called menopause. Menopause is the last end. Menarche. It should be what? First menstrual cycle is menarche. So we solved these type of questions, if you remember. Okay. These type of questions we solved also during before, I think, 15 days of examination also, we were discussing these questions. And we did this kind of question. Okay. So you got it correct now. So this is wrong. Lack of menstruation may be indicative of pregnancy. Now you don't have to think about so much advanced, versions of this. You have to think what is written in NCERT. And NCERT clearly mentions this statement. As such, this statement is written that lack of menstruation is indicative of pregnancy. As such, a statement is written in NCERT. So this is absolutely correct. Next comes the cyclic menstruation extends between menarche and menopause. This is absolutely correct again. So what you have to find out now? Which of the following statements are correct? So you got A correct, C correct, and D correct. So you got the right answer as first one. Clear? Such a easy question, you see, such a easy question. It is as such, each and every statement is coming from NCERT. Okay, come on. So 186 now we'll see. I think 186 we'll see now. Yeah, we got it. So let's see 186 question. What the question says here. Which of the following statements are correct regarding skeletal muscles? Please see skeletal muscles. And many students, I am damn sure they would have done this mistake here. What was the mistake? I can tell you now. Muscle bundles are held together by collagenous connective tissue layer called fascicle. So you see, many students would have done mistake because it was written fascicle here and it should be here fascia. Why it should be fascia? Because there are many muscle bundles. It is not one bundle. So when one bundle is covered by a connective tissue layer, it is called fascicle. When many bundles all these bundles are covered by a common collagenous connective tissue that should be called as fascia. So this is absolutely wrong statement here, and he's talking about the correct ones. Sarcoplasmic reticulum of muscle fiber is a storehouse of calcium ions. Absolutely correct. Okay, because sarcoplasmic reticulum will store what? Calcium ions, and when it is needed, it will send into the sarcoplasm. Correct. Next, is striated appearance of a skeletal muscle is due to the distribution pattern of actin and myosin proteins. Absolutely correct. See, actin and myosin proteins, many students think they are not present in the smooth muscles, but they are present there. They're not arranged in a proper pattern. So distribution pattern is important, which is there in what? Which is there in the striated muscles or the skeletal muscles. Got my point here? Next, last point you see. M line is considered as functional unit of contraction called sarcomere. Absolutely wrong. M line is in the middle of what? The A band. It is never a functional unit. Okay, it will disappear when the muscle is contracting. So this is absolutely wrong statement. So two statements are wrong. One is A and one is D. So correct ones are what? B and C. So where you saw the B and C? The third option. So B and C are the correct answers. Got my point here? Clear? Very easy question if you have a little bit idea of that. Okay, come on. So 187 we'll see now. 187, what's that question now? 187 says, how you are going to differentiate? Okay, what is the following? Which of the following is characteristic feature of cockroach regarding sexual dimorphism? Sexual dimorphism means how you are going to differentiate the male cockroach and the female cockroach, correct? So male and female cockroach can be only, differentiated by one structure, that is anal style, not cerci. It should be anal style. So wherever you see the keyword as anal style, go for it. You see, such a easy question they gave. Such a easy question. And someone is marking, you see someone paper is there and he's marking dark brown body and all, not required. Okay, so it's a very easy question, which is anal style is found in males. It is not found in females. So clearly you have differentiated between what? Male and female. Got it? Come on. 188 now. 187 we did. Now 188. So 188 is a very important question. Very nice question they made, you see. Very nicely they have made from NCERT. Let's see the question first. Which of the following statements are correct now? Correct. It says an excessive loss of body fluid from the body switches off osmoreceptors. Now you think that when the body is losing, excessive loss of fluid is taking from the body, will it switch off the osmoreceptors, or at that time it is an emergency? It has to, activate it. An NCERT statement was written. It activates the osmoreceptor. This same statement they have given from NCERT. It should be activates, which is wrong here. So this statement is wrong. ADH facilitates water reabsorption to prevent diuresis. See, any student who knows the full form of this, anti-diuretic hormone. So it will prevent diuresis. Simple. Clear? It's absolutely correct. ANF causes vasodilation. Yes, because ANF is coming from the heart and it is causing the vasodilation because excessive pressure is there on the heart muscles. So it is releasing the hormone from the atria of the atrial walls of the heart. So that is absolutely correct. And it is against the RAS system, renin angiotensin aldosterone system. It works against that. Now, ADH causes increase in blood pressure. The other name of ADH. If you know the other name of ADH, this also you'll do it correct. How? ADH other name is vasopressin. Vasopressin means it will constrict the blood vessels. So it will constrict the blood vessel mean it will increase the blood pressure. Got it now? This also correct? Now, ADH is responsible for decrease in GFR. How is it possible? When ADH is working, blood pressure is increasing, blood volume is increasing. So blood pressure and blood volume when they increase, do you think the GFR will decrease or increase? So this will be wrong. So how many you got the correct one? So you got the B, C, and D as correct. So B, C, and D. I am telling you, many students would have done this wrong. I can see here also. Many students who are not clear in their approach. The conceptual learning should be there. You should learn the concepts, how this mechanism is operating in your body, how your kidneys are functioning. That is the only reason why human physiology questions are there for you, which if you do correct, then only you'll get the best marks, or maybe the 100% marks. Okay, so understand the concepts here. Come on, so let's talk about the 189 question now. 189 again is from botany here, so we'll just see what's the answer for this. Come on, let's take the answer. The answer should be, I think, the logistic growth is going for what? Percent individuals of pre-reproductive age is the largest, followed by reproductive and post-reproductive age groups, correct? Exponential growth will happen only when there's unlimited resource. So you got the keyword here, correct? You got the keyword. So A is for 3. Okay, sorry, A is for 2 here. Okay, A is for 2 and B is for 1, correct? A is for 2 and B is for 1. I think 189. Once you can check it once again. 189, yeah. So A is for 2 and B is for 1. Okay, expanding age pyramid. Expanding age pyramid should be when you have the percentage size. I think this will go for what? C, you will go for 3. Okay, B, you will go for 2. Exponential growth will happen only when there is unlimited resource. So B, you go for 1, A, you go for 2, C, you go for 3, and D, you go for 4. Got it? Come on, the next question now. Now, 190th question, you see, which talks about the mammals here. So what is the feature of mammal? What is the unique feature of mammal? The unique feature, if I talk about, you will definitely say it's mammary glands. So one option, that is mammary glands, correct? So wherever mammary glands are not there, you remove that. Okay, so that is your fourth option is gone. Okay, fourth option is gone. Even it says indirect development, which is wrong. So mammary glands are given now in 3 cases. Now, next unique character of mammals is what? Hairs. So hairs, mammary glands. So where is hairs and mammary glands? You got this 2 options now. One is hairs, tympanic membrane, and hairs and pinna. So I'll go for 3. Why? Because tympanic membrane is also found in amphibians. It is also found in reptiles. So tympanic membrane can't be a unique character to mammals. So hairs, pinna, and mammary glands. That's the right answer for mammals. That is the unique characters of mammal. Got my point now? Let's go for the next question now. 191. So 191, I think, which is again from botany here, but still you see was the right answer for that. Which one of the following is the sequence on corresponding coding strand? If the sequence on mRNA formed is as follows, that is 5' AUC. Okay, so 5' is saying AUC. So you just see A will go for what? A you will replace with U, correct? So let's see now what sequence you'll go for what? 191 you'll go for what? It's a mRNA, sorry. It's a mRNA sequence. So mRNA sequence you'll go for what? A will go for A, U will go for T, correct? U will go for what? T, because mRNA is forming the DNA now. So you will go for what? 5' ATC. Okay, 5' ATC G. That's the answer for that. Okay, come on, next question we'll see now. Again, it's from botany only. So let's see what it says here. Come on. So given below are 2 statements. Statement 1 says, during G0 phase of cell cycle, the cell is metabolically inactive. So G0 phase. G0 phase is what? G0 phase is the resting phase, correct? In which the cell is not dividing. So in that case, you see, statement 1 should be correct or incorrect. So G0 phase is resting phase. So resting phase is what? Inactive. That's correct. Next question, next statement, the centrosome undergoes duplication during S phase. This is absolutely correct. Okay. So this is also correct. And the above one is also correct. So we'll go forward. Both statements 1 and 2 are correct. Got it? Come on, let's move to the next question now. I think that was an easy question here. Okay, now we'll go for the next question, that is select the correct statements with reference to chordates. Now chordates characters, what are the characters of chordates? One is the pharyngeal gill slit, one is your post-anal tail, other is your notochord and nerve cord, correct? 4 characters. But they are very smart in asking questions, you see. Presence of mid-dorsal, solid and double nerve cord. Do you think the chordate's nerve cord is double? That was clearly mentioned in NCRT. NCRT, they have clearly mentioned this point when they differentiated between what? Non-chordates and chordates. They have clearly mentioned, they have made 2 columns. In that, double nerve cord is found in what? Double nerve cord is found in non-chordates, not in chordates. So this is the absolutely wrong statement, correct? Presence of closed circulatory system, absolutely correct. Closed circulatory system is a characteristic of chordates. Next, presence of paired pharyngeal gill slits, that is also absolutely correct, because in all chordates at some stage of development you will find what? Paired pharyngeal gill slits, absolutely correct. Next, presence of dorsal heart. Do you think chordates have dorsal heart or ventral heart? You also were in the exam, so you know your heart is on what side? Ventral side. So this is absolutely wrong statement. Okay, so chordates will have ventral heart. Next one, triploblastic. Yes, chordates are triploblastic. Are they pseudocoelomate or coelomate? Pseudocoelomate, only one phylum is there. That is the phylum Aschelminthus. So this is absolutely wrong here. So you got what? You got right as what? You got only one as correct answer, correct? Only one option as, sorry, 2 options. One is your B, another is C. Okay, so let's talk about the correct options. Correct options are what? The B1, that is presence of closed circulatory system, and the C1, that is presence of paired pharyngeal gill slits. These are the only 2 options which are correct. So you go for what? B and C. You got it? Easy? Come on. Easy cheesy. Match the list 1 with list 2. Match the followings are very easy, I think, sometimes. If you know one of the answer, you can do the other one easily. So here you have the mast cells. Mast cells, where are they found? They are found in the connective tissue. Simply you go for connective tissue. Where is that? But now there are 2 options. One is this, one is this. So mast cells will be found in areolar connective tissue. Okay, still wait. Next comes the inner surface of bronchioles. So inner surface of bronchioles. So bronchioles usually have what type of epithelium? It has a ciliated epithelium. That is why, bronchioles, from bronchioles, you have the dust particles coming out. Okay, when there's an infection or inflammation, then the mucus comes out from the upper regions. So it should be ciliated epithelium. Next is blood. So blood, is a specialized connective tissue. It's a only connective tissue which is fluid. Okay, so that's a specialized connective tissue. You got it very easily. CS4. So you see the CS4 are 2 options here. Now come for a D now. Tubular parts of nephron. So tubules of nephrons, that is PCT, DCT, all will have the cuboidal epithelium. Brush bordered cuboidal epithelium, not ciliated. So you have ruled out the ciliated. You have brush bordered cuboidal epithelium. So that means D is for 3. So wherever you see D is for 3, there are 2 options now again. C is 4, D is 3. Mast cells. Mast cells will be found in what? Areolar connective tissue. So you go for what? A as 2. A as 2. So option answer is 4th. A2 and B. B is what? Inner surface of bronchiole, that is ciliated. You got the answer now? Clear? So answer for 194 is 4th. Got it? Come on, next now. 195. 195. Very good question here. Very good question. And that was from the chapter called strategies, correct? Let's see the question. Which one of the following is not, again you see, this is the keyword here, not an advantage of inbreeding. Not an advantage. So first option we'll read, it decreases the productivity of inbred population after continuous breeding. Yes, that is because if you go for continuous inbreeding, they'll lose a vigor and vitality. So this statement is absolutely correct. Okay, but anyway, that's not a very good advantage or something, but still, option is correct. It decreases homozygosity or increases homozygosity. That was clearly mentioned. The word is mentioned. It increases homozygosity. So I got the answer as the wrong answer. You see, not. So wrong answer, I easily got it. but still I'll read the other options also. It exposes harmful recessive genes that are eliminated by selection. Absolutely correct. It will remove those harmful recessive genes. That is also a statement is given in NCRT. Elimination of less desirable genes and accumulation of superior genes. Yes, this usually takes place when continuous inbreeding is going on. So you have the superior genes which are getting favored. Correct. So this is also correct. So anyway, you got the answer, but still you go for the other options. You have to read once to cross check yourself. Okay. Let's move to the next question now. That is 196. Okay. This is from what? This is from, I think, human body fluids, human physiology, body fluids. So which of the following statements are correct? So let's read the first statement. Basophils are the most abundant cells of the total WBC. No. Neutrophils are the most abundant. Okay, neutrophils are the most abundant. So this is the wrong statement. Basophils secrete histamine, serotonin, and heparin. This is absolutely correct. They are quite similar to the mast cells of the connective tissues. So this is absolutely correct. And the basophils are involved in inflammatory responses. Yes, they will be involved in what? Inflammatory response. But still, wait. Now, basophils have kidney-shaped nucleus. Kidney-shaped nucleus is found in monocytes, if you remember. So this is also gone. Are the basophils granulocytes or agranulocytes? This is also gone. Correct? So now, what options do you think now are left? Only I think B and C are left, correct? So we'll go for what? B and C as the correct options. Got it? B and C. Is it okay with you all? So we completed 196, almost 2-3 questions are more left. So let's complete it fast. 197. 197, what the question says here. I think this is from the hormones chapter, that is chemical coordination. So which of the following are not? Again, you see the keyword here. Not under the control of thyroid hormones. When the thyroid hormones work, they increase your BMR, they maintain your BMR, they support your erythropoiesis, that is RBC formation. So all these things, if you know, if you have in your mind, you can easily solve these kind of questions. Let's see. Maintenance of water and electrolyte balance. Obviously, thyroid hormones are meant for that. They maintain water and electrolyte balance. But it's a function of aldosterone also. We'll wait. Regulation of basal metabolic rate, absolutely correct. BMR is maintained by thyroid hormones. Normal rhythm of sleep-wake cycle, never. Sleep-wake cycle comes from the pineal gland, that is melatonin hormone. So this is absolutely wrong statement here. And he is talking about which of the following are not under that means this is the answer. Development of immune system. Development of immune system is not a function of thyroid hormone. That also is wrong statement, but your answer is that. Supports the process of RBC formation. This is absolutely correct. So this is correct for thyroid. This is correct for thyroid. So only 2 statements are not correct for thyroid, that is C and D. So our answer should be what? C and D only. You got it? How to get the answer? That not, he's asking about not under the control of thyroid. So these 2 are not under the control of thyroid hormones. They both are under the control of pineal gland, that is, which is secreting the melatonin hormone. Correct? Got it? Let's go for the 4th answer for 197. Correct? 198 we'll see now. So was the 198 question? I think 198 is again the botany answer, the botany question here. So let's see. Select the correct statement. Okay. So this from the cell biology. This from what? Cell biology. So let's see 198 question. So I think he's asking the correct statement. So tetrad formation is seen during leptotene. I think tetrad formation is not seen during leptotene. It is seen in ZPDD. Okay, zygotene. Okay, pectine. So LZPDD. I think it's zygotene. So let's wait still. During anaphase, the centromeres split and chromatids separate. This is absolutely correct. During anaphase, the centromeres are splitting and the chromatids are separating. That's absolutely correct. Terminalization takes place during pectine. No, it takes place in the later stages in the prophase. That's also wrong. So B is correct. We'll go for B first. Nucleolus, Golgi complex, and ER are reformed during telophase. That's also absolutely correct. Crossing over takes place between sister chromatids or of homologous chromosome or non-homologous chromosome. So we'll go for B and D as a correct answer. Okay, let's go for B and D. Okay, 199 now. The parts of human brain that helps in what? This was a question we discussed in the during our discussion before 10-15 days when we're discussing the question papers, and I clearly mentioned you that this question may come and what you have to answer. If you remember, the parts of human brain that helps in regulation of sexual behavior, expression of excitement, pleasure, rage and fear. Many students were giving answer at the time as only as limbic system, but then I mentioned you that it's not only limbic system, it is limbic system along with hypothalamus, and that question has come as such, you see. Okay, it's not hippocampus, it's along with hypothalamus. So you got the right answer here, limbic system and hypothalamus. So it's very important to discuss the question papers also. Okay, so better we discuss these questions also before the, I think one week before examination we discuss all these. So correct. Come on, last question we'll see now. Was the last question you see here? So again a good question, yeah, because many students won't be knowing about the phallic gland. That was given only in the diagrams. Okay, in the diagram only it was given. It was not mentioned something more about it. So let's see. In cockroach, excretion is brought about by. But I think you would have done correct, because at one place it was mentioned that excretion in cockroach is carried out only by what? Nephrocytes, uricose glands, and fat bodies. That statement was written. Okay, so if you would have read that statement, you would have easily got the answer as B, C, and D. Okay, whether phallic gland was mentioned or not, it was only mentioned in diagram, but you could have got the answer as correct if you would have read the statement. So answer is what? B, C, D. Somewhere you can see B, C, D. Yeah, it's fourth one. And you see someone has done wrong also. The student has clicked it. So I think now we are done with the zoology portion. Now Vatsala ma'am will be taking your botany portion. Okay, thank you.
Okay, welcome again, guys. Now, let's give the biology minds a little break. So you have seen enough of zoology. So before we start with botany, let us get into chemistry again, solve some problems, and then we will go back to biology again. Okay. Now, we would be looking at the next 10 questions. You'd have total of 20 questions left. This is the first 10 of the 20 questions left. We are talking about pumice stone. Very simple. Pumice stone, you would have come across this as a rubbing stone that we use while we're taking bath. What is pumice stone made up of? Simple. It is made up of solid stone particles which has captured gaseous molecules. So it's a solid particle which contains gases in it. What is a solid or gas in a solid referred to as? A gas in a solid colloid is referred to as a solid sol. A very simple question. We'll move ahead. Next. Which of the following statements are incorrect is the point. All the transition metals except scandium form MO oxides which are ionic. Statement is right. No doubt about it. To be remembered. The highest oxidation numbers corresponding to the group number in transition metal oxide is attained in Se2O3 and Mn2O7. Correct. In Mn2O7 it is +7, which is the highest for manganese, and here it is +3, which is the highest for scandium. Correct. Basic character increases from V2O3 to V2O4 to V2O5. This statement is incorrect. Very simple. Oxidation numbers are increasing. Oxidation number increases. Basicity should decrease. Basicity won't increase. If you ask me why should basicity decrease, because covalent character increases. So this statement is wrong. Next. V2O4 dissolves in acid to give VO4 3- salts. No, it will give you VO2 plus. A statement straight out of NCRT. So these two statements are wrong. All the other statements are correct. So it has to be option C and D. Straight out of NCERT questions. Now, moving ahead, on balancing the given redox reaction is given you a redox reaction and is asking you for these stoichiometric coefficients. It's very simple, guys. What we will do is we will just write the change in oxidation numbers and we will know. Cr2 plus is plus 6. From plus 6, it is becoming plus 3. So the change in oxidation number is decreasing by 3, and there are 2 chromiums into 3. So that's 6. So the oxidation number of sulfur here is plus 4. From plus 4, it is becoming plus 6. So the change in oxidation number is increasing by 2. All of us know what do we do with redox, no? Whatever is the oxidation number change here, we multiply chromium by that number, and whatever is the oxidation number change for chromium, we multiply sulfur by that number. So basically it is 2 and 6, and all of us know we can we can divide this by 2 because it is the multiples of 2. So this becomes 1, this becomes 3. Look for an option which has A as 1 and B as 3. So option 2. Straight away we can mark. You don't even have to go ahead and balance the equation. Option 1 has 1 and 3 as A and B. We have our answer in less than a minute's time. Okay. Moving on to next question. What fraction of one edge-centered octahedral void lies in one unit cell? All of us know how a unit cell looks like, no? Okay. One unit cell is surrounded by how many unit cells? One unit cell will be surrounded by 4 other unit cells, one in the front, one in the back, one to the left and the right. If you talk about center of a edge center, now one unit cell will be surrounded by 4 unit cells. So basically one edge center will be shared by 4 unit cells. So the answer has to be 1 divided by 4. Concept is very simple. This is the edge center. The edge center will be shared by how many unit cells? This center is shared by 1 and 2. And in the second layer again, it will be shared by 1 and 2. So basically this point or this point on the edge will be shared by 4 cells, and that's 1 divided by 4 being the answer. Next one. Which of the complex is the most stable? Very simple. You can straight away mark option D as the answer because this is a bidentate ligand, and in bidentate ligands we get to see something called as chelation, and wherever there is chance for chelation, its stability automatically increases because it forms a 4 or a 6 membered ring structure. Formation of ring structure is referred to as chelation. Done. Okay, which among the following will be the most readily dehydrated under acidic condition? Look at the options, and you will have to check for those species which are beta hydroxy alcohol. So what happens is this has a chance of becoming a molecule like this. Due to tautomerism, it can become this. There's one more CH2. C double bond O. That's one carbon. C double bond O and CH3. Okay, it has a chance of tautomerism. If it has a chance of tautomerism, this is beta hydroxy aldehyde or ketone. Beta hydroxy aldehydes and ketones are the ones that can be readily dehydrated. So this has to be the option due to just a point that it is beta hydroxy aldehyde. Next one, very simple. Let's say you have a lot of nutrients in the form of phosphates in a water body that will help in the growth of algae. If algae grows, such a body is referred to as eutrophication. So nutrient deficient water leads to eutrophication? No. Nutrient rich water body leads to eutrophication, and nutrient we are considering as phosphates. So statement number 1 is wrong. Statement 2, eutrophication leads to decrease in the level of oxygen. That's 100% right. See, what happens when there is excessive nutrients? Algae grows. Algae grows at what cost? At the cost of the dissolved oxygen present in water. So what happens if the dissolved oxygen decreases? Aquatic water beings face the problem. So statement number 1 is wrong and statement number 2 is right. So which is option 1. Simple organic question. Aldehydes, if it undergoes reduction, what will it lead to? If aldehydes undergo reduction, it will lead to the formation of a primary alcohol. What will happen if primary alcohols undergo reaction with sulfuric acid? This is a dehydrating agent. Water and hydrogen gets removed, so it will lead to the formation of an alkene. Perfect. What will happen when an alkene reacts with HBr? When an alkene reacts with HBr, simple, H gets added to one carbon, Br gets added to another carbon. It will lead to the formation of CH3, CH2Br. Okay, this is alkyl halide. This is aryl halide. Reaction between alkyl halide and aryl halide in the presence of sodium and dry ether is what is referred to as Wood's reaction. So when an alkyl halide and an aryl halide reacts, it is Wood's fatigue reaction leading to this formation. Basically, bromine and bromine combines with sodium in order for CH3, CH2 to combine with benzene ring. The simple Wood's fatigue reaction. Equilibrium concentration of the species in the reaction A, B, C, D are 2, 3, 10 and 6. These are the numbers involved, 2, 3, 10 and 6 respectively. So we are asked to find out delta G naught. It's a simple calculation based question. Delta G naught is what? Minus NF or minus 2.303 RT log K. Okay, our work is to find out delta G naught. Let's substitute minus 2.303. Most of you would have made this mistake of substituting 8.314 for log R value. R value is 2. Why is it 2? Because the unit taken is calories and temperature is 300 into log. What is the concentration of the products? Products are C and D. Concentration of product is 10 and 6. 10 and 6. What's the concentration of reactants? 2 and 3. Okay, 2 and 3. So 3 ones are, 3 twos are. So 2 ones are, 2 ones are. Okay, I think 2, 3, 10 and 6. Okay, so if you go ahead and simplify this, it will be minus 2.303. It's 2, 3 for AB. 2, 3. Okay, so it's 2, 3 for products and for reactants, and 10 and 6 for products. So that's 2 ones, 2 thrice, 3 and 3. Log 10, all of us know log 10 is 1. How much is this? 300 into 2, 600. 600 into 2, approximately 1200. And the answer that's matching is this, option 4, 1300, and minus sign is there. So minus 1381. A very simple one. Okay. This will require knowledge of the structures of the acids involved here. Peroxo disulfuric acid. Peroxo disulfuric acid is H2S2O8. H2S2O8. You will have to know the structure. It is O, double bond O, double bond O. This is peroxo disulfuric acid. Next, sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid, straight away I'll write the formula. I mean the molecular structure. H2SO4. So this is the structure. And pyrosulfuric acid. Pyrosulfuric acid is SOOS, double bond O, double bond O, OH. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. OH. So I think the total count of oxygen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It should be 7 only. So it's single bond sulfur. This is the structure. And sulfurous acid. Sulfurous acid is H2SO3. These are the structures. Very simple, guys. We'll connect them. 2 SOH bonds, 4 S double bond O bonds, and 1 SOS. I have SOS here. So 1 SOS, 4 S double bond O, and 2 SOH. So this is nothing but pyrosulfuric acid. Connect that. Next one, 2 SOH, 1 S double bond O, 2 SOH, and one S double bond O. It is sulfurous acid. And then two SOH, four S double bond O, and one SOOS. SOS, though we have only in peroxide disulfuric, no? So this will be this. And last one, what is left? C. B, sulfuric acid. No, sulfuric acid can be connected to this. Two SOH and one. So now you figure out A is what? A is 3. So A is 3. Either A or B. Next, B, C is what? C is 1. C is 1. So this has to be the option. Okay. So that would be the end of 10 questions for me. So it was great discussing the 30 questions of NEET for today. I'll quickly introduce my colleague Pallavi to take forward the remaining 10 questions and wind up chemistry completely, guys. Please, ma'am.
So guys, let's wind up the remaining 10 questions of chemistry. Okay, so let's start with the very first question, which doesn't need any explanation if you only know the clear difference between vinylic and allylic. So this is clearly, the answer is allylic halide, because you can see the positioning of double bond here with respect to halogen. Okay, let's move to next question. Now, if you read the statement, this is talking about the sodium. This is talking about sodium in liquid ammonia. So when we take sodium dissolves in liquid ammonia, it evolves out the ammoniated electron. And if you know that an electron has evolved, that means it is definitely going to be paramagnetic. But the reason for deep blue solution is also the same, ammoniated electron, and then there is a simultaneous formation of sodium ammonia complex. So it is definitely not the amide complex. So your assertion is true, but your reason is false. Okay, so which is that option? Option number 4. Okay, there is no amide formation, but yes, that deep blue solution is ammoniated electron and it is paramagnetic. Okay, moving to next question. Now, in this reaction, if you see the very first step, the product is already given. Okay, what is happening? This cyanide attack has already taken place. Now, when you take conc H2SO4, firstly, this conc H2SO4 what will be the effect on this compound? So it is going to form, it is COOH. Okay, but we are still left with the heating thing. Okay, heating. So what will happen with this heating effect? This is going to, there is one hydrogen this side, there's one hydrogen, either of the two hydrogens you take, and this is going to form the double bond. So just check, the COH is still left, which is that option. So option number 1. Okay, let's move to another question. Yes, so if you see the stability of Cu2 plus, they're asking you the reason for stability of Cu2 plus. Now, if you see what is the comparison Cu2 plus and Cu plus, since the charge density is more here the power of like this more high water molecules will be surrounding this Cu2 plus, and it will form more stable bonds with this Cu2 plus compared to Cu plus. So because of the great charge density, the hydration bond will be stronger, and that is the reason for the stability of Cu2 plus. So your answer option is 4. Now let's move to the next question. The questions are really easy. Now, this is a question where, in fact, this is a debate question. Like, if you see the assertion, the statement, what is the statement? Just a minute. Okay. What is the statement here written? So, a reaction can have zero activation energy. In general, if you read the statement, yes, almost all the reactions have zero activation energy. But you might have, this is a bit updated question, so you might have not read about the features of Wood's reaction. Obviously, I've read about Wood's reaction, but if you go to the activation energy of the Wood's reaction, what happens there? There you take two methyl free radicals, and they are so reactive that they don't even need some extra energy, and because of which, even with zero activation energy, this reaction is successful. So although the statement looks like false, but if you take the possibility of Wood's reaction, this statement is true. So most of you might have chosen this option, where you might get the marks, but actually this is also true, that option number 3. Why? Please check. Both the statements are correct. This is definitely correct because this is clear definition for activation energy, but this is not at all the reason behind this statement. So some of you might have taken this as your answer, some of you might have taken this. Let's see what is going to be, where you might score in your results. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Now, what is the next question? Let's move to next question. Now, this clearly what you have to apply. Let's go back to the previous question. This clearly applies the Huckel's rule. Now, what is this Huckel's rule? It's already written 4n plus 2 pi. Okay, 4n plus 2 pi electron. Just simply do the mathematics, take out the n value. Wherever you get the exact n value, there those compounds are following your obeys Huckel's rule. Okay, so what are those? Just try to find it. One must be this 1 2 3 4 5 6. This is clearly following that 4n plus 2 rule. Okay, so similarly, if you go for all the compounds, check this formula 4n plus 2, and your answer, out of all this, 4 species are definitely obeying the Huckel's rule. You have to find out which one. Okay, so your answer is option 2. Okay, let's move to next question. Now, this is very simple organic reaction. What is happening here? Just see. Now, in the presence of HIN heating, firstly, if you break this from where the cleavage is happening, this is going to form your phenoxide ion. And with the negative charge on O, obviously it is going to get attracted to this part, this one H. And this one with the positive charge is going to get attracted to the I part. So which option is the most correct one? If you see option number 4. Okay, moving to the next question. Very easy questions. Let's move to the next one. This is a factual question where you need to at least remember the blast furnace reactions. Okay, so the one which is not at all taking place in this range is option number B. Okay, this is that reaction which doesn't take place in the blast furnace with this range. Okay, now let's move to next question. Now, this is the question where you can apply the Tollens reagent distinguishing test. What is Tollens reagent? If you can see, this is Tollens reagent. And how does it distinguish aldehyde ketones? So it is going to oxidize the aldehyde part, but it never oxidize the normal ketones. Okay, so which option, where do you see the oxidation of this aldehyde but no oxidation of this part? And this is option number 4, where you see the oxidation of aldehyde into carboxylic acid but no oxidation of ketone has taken place. Okay, let's move to the next question, the last question of chemistry, which is simply showing you the relationship between the change in the enthalpy delta H and change in the internal energy. Okay, change in the internal energy delta H and delta U. So if you see, you have read about the relationship between delta H, delta U, P delta V, where here all the options are in the form of number of moles, and the option number 3 is correct. So this winds up your chemistry section, and we are back with the biology questions. So Vatsala ma'am will be discussing the biology questions. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So because botany your favorite subject, I decided to come in the last. Fine. So let's go quickly now. So regarding the answers. So what is the role of polymerase 3 in the process of transcription in eukaryotes? So you know that polymerase 1 is related to it. It helps in the formation of rRNA. So polymerase 2 mRNA and polymerase 3 tRNA. So hence the answer should be so it should be 3. So let me take the color. Yeah. Okay. So let's go to the next question. So movement and accumulation of ions across a membrane against their concentration. Against their concentration is the question here. So against their concentration. So against the concentration is uphill movement, and hence the option is active transportation. So let's go to the next question. So upon exposure to UV radiation, DNA stained with ethidium bromide will show orange color. So you have seen that. So orange color is the answer. So this is with respect to your NCRT. Orange is the answer. So coming to the next question. So the thickness of ozone in a column of air in the atmosphere is measured in terms of Dobson's unit. So that should be your answer. Okay. So let's go to the next question. So among eukaryotes, replication of DNA takes place in. So you all know that synthetic phase is the phase where replication of DNA takes place, and hence the answer is S phase. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Question number 106. Spraying of which of the following phytohormone on juvenile conifer? The same to same sentence is given in your NCRT. So helps in hastening the maturity period that leads to early seed formation. It is gibberellic acid, and that's the answer. So let's go fatafat to the question number 107. So here there are two statements. Let me read the statement. One, the forces generated by transpiration can lift a xylem sized column of water over 130 meters height. Yes, so more than 100 meters is sequoia, gigantea, redwood trees, and therefore this statement is true. And statement 2 is all about the transpiration cools leaf surfaces sometimes 10 to 15 degrees by evaporate cooling. Yes, of course. So whatever the perspiration in human beings is related to the transpiration in plants, it requires the cooling effect, and hence both the statement are correct, and your answer should be option 2. So the historic convention on biological diversity, the Earth Summit, so was held in Rio de Janeiro in the year 1992. It happened in from 3rd to 14th June. So it happened in Rio de Janeiro. So that should be your option 3. So NCRT direct question. So let's go to the next. Which micronutrient is required for splitting of water molecules? The element that is involved in oxygen evolving complex is manganese, and hence the option 2 should be your answer. So let's go to the next question. So given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion A. So this is an assertion reasoning statement. So ATP is used at 2 steps in glycolysis. Okay. So first ATP is used in converting glucose into glucose 6-phosphate, and second ATP is used in conversion of fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-diphosphate. So these two are involved in the investment phase. You know that glycolysis has 10 steps, where first 5 steps are investment and the next 5 steps are payoff phase in the investment phase. So this is in 2 ATPs are required. So hence the option should be, and ATP is used in 2 steps. And this is the correct explanation. So therefore, the option should be, so both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A, option 2. Okay, so let's go to the next question. So that is 111, large colorful fragment. This is the easiest question. So in this paper, so this is large and colorful, brightly colored. So vibrant colored petals are present in the insect pollinating flowers, and this is the easiest question. Next one. So given below are 2 statements. Again, this is the assertion and reasoning question, 112 question. So this is, so the first stage of gametophyte in the life cycle of moss, so that's bryophytes, is protonema. Yes, that's right. So it is protonema. And the protonema develops directly from spores produced in capsule. Yes, that's right. So embryophyta begins from bryophytes, and hence this answer. Both are correct, and option 2 is the answer. So let's go to the next question. So which of the following stages of meiosis involve division of centromere? Because division of centromere doesn't take place in meiosis 1, so meiosis 2 is required. So meiosis has 2 phases. Phase 1 is the reduction, and phase 2 is the equational phase, and hence the option is anaphase 2. So let's go to the next question. So it's 114. In angiosperm, the haploid, diploid, and triploid structures in the fertilized embryo sac. So you know that, so everything in the female gametophytes, that's the embryo sac, is a haploid structure, and one of the structure is synergids. So synergid haploid, zygote is diploid, and primary endosperm nucleus, which is formed from triple fusion, is a triploid. So the option 4 is the correct explanation. So 115, expressed sequence tags refer to, what are ESTs? ESTs are, you come across that in 2 chapters. One is the molecular genetics and another is the biotechnology. So here the option 2. So all genes that are expressed as RNA, so to have the precise explanation for the same is, so you can write it down if you want. So messenger RNA sequences derived through single sequencing reactions performed on randomly selected clones from complementary DNA, cDNA. So therefore, the option, correct option is 2. So let's go to the next question. So here it is a statement based, endarch and exarch. So when we say endarch and endarch is development of the protoxylem towards the center, and exarch is the protoxylem coming towards the periphery. So therefore, this is the characteristic feature of primary xylem. So here they have given the secondary xylem, so therefore that statement is wrong. Okay, so here they have given the secondary xylem, which is the wrong statement, and exarch condition is the more common feature of root system. Yes, so we get to see that in the root system, and therefore, so option 1 is wrong, option 2 is correct. So here, yeah, this is the correct answer. So going to the next question. What is the function of tassels? So this is another very easy question for today. So this is to trap pollen grains. So what are tassels? So they are the style, okay? So which trap? So they are the gynoecium. So they are the stigma, stigma, which trap the pollen grains. So therefore the option is 3. Option 3 is the correct answer for this. So going to the next question. The process of appearance of recombination nodule occurs at which substate of, so prophase 1. Recombination begins in packetine stage of the prophase 1, and therefore the option is 3, packetine. So the next question, 119. The phenomenon of pleiotropism refers to, so pleiotropism, what is pleiotropism? So a single gene affecting multiple phenotypic expression. So the classic example is sickle cell anemia, which is given in your NCRT. So therefore the correct answer is option 4. So let's go to the next question. So here, so which all the options are right? So detritivores perform fragmentation. Yes. So this is from your ecology chapter, ecosystem. So yes, that is the right option. Okay, so the humans is further degraded by some microbes during mineralization. Yes, that is right. And water-soluble inorganic nutrients go down into the soil and get precipitated by a process called the leaching. So all the 3 options are correct and rest 2 are wrong. So you can, this is another easy question for today. So it is directly, the statements are directly from your NCRT. So therefore A, B, C is the right option. Cellulose does not form blue color like how starch forms. What could be the reason? So it does not contain complex helices like how starch has, and hence cannot hold iodine molecules in the helical structure. So no helices, no iodine, no blue color. So therefore option 4 is the correct answer. So in this equation, so there is a gross and this is net. So gross primary production minus R gives the net primary production. So what is that R stands for? So that is your question. So here R is the respiratory losses in the producers. So therefore option 4 is the right answer. So how many ATP and NADPH2 are required for the synthesis of one molecule of glucose during Calvin cycle? So one molecule of glucose requires 6 molecules of carbon dioxide. So therefore 6 cycles it has to go through, and totally we need 18 ATP and 12 NADPH2. So this is in the Calvin cycle. Calvin cycle is a C3 pathway, not C4 pathway. C3 pathway, hence the correct option is 18 ATP and 12 NADP, option 3. So in gene gun method used to introduce alien DNA into the host cell, microparticles of which metal is used? So either gold or tungsten. So they are used. So gold is the noble metal and tungsten has high melting point. So therefore these 2 are used in this process. Hence the option 4 is the correct answer. So among the evil quartet, which one is considered the most important cause driving extinction of species? Extinction of species is due to the biodiversity loss. So the most appropriate for that is the habitat loss and fragmentation. So when there is no habitat, so then as good as biodiversity is lost. So therefore the correct option is habitat loss and fragmentation. Question number 126. So here this is an assertion and reasoning. Late wood has fewer auxiliary elements with narrow vessels. Late wood is autumn wood and hence the option is correct. Assertion is, the statement is right. And for this statement, let's see, is it right? So because cambium is less active during autumn season, so hence it has a fewer auxiliary elements. So therefore, both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A, and option 2 is the correct answer. So unequivocal proof that DNA is the genetic material was first proposed by Hershey and Martha Chase. So therefore, option is 3. So frequency of recombination between gene pairs on the same chromosomes is a measure of the distance between genes to map. So gene mapping, who is the person who first developed this technique? So it's by Thomas Morgan Hunt's student, Alfred Sturtevant, and therefore the option is 4. So let's go to the next question. So the reaction center in PS2 has an absorption maxima. So this is also one of the easiest question of today. So that is 680 nanometer. Question number 130. So Fabaceae differs from Solanaceae and the Liliaceae. These three families is given in morphology of flowering plants. So with respect to the stamens, pick out the characteristic specific to family Fabaceae only. Fabaceae is nothing but Leguminosae, Papilionaceae family, but not found in Solanaceae. Solanaceae has epipetalous stamen and there are only 5 and free. So whereas in Fabaceae, it is in 2 bundles, which means diadelphous and dithecus. So it is diadelphous and dithecus. Option 2 is the correct answer. So let's go to the next question. So in tissue culture experiments, leaf mesophyll cells. So leaf mesophyll cells. So please understand this. So are put in a culture medium. Okay. So they are put in the culture medium to form callus. So callus is an undifferentiated mass of tissue. So where the mesophyll cells undergo de-differentiation and they start developing many times to form an undifferentiated mass of tissue. So hence the option de-differentiation is the right answer. So which hormone promotes internode petiole elongation in deep water ice? So this is directly from your NCRT where it's ethylene. Okay, so ethylene is the gaseous phytohormones. You have studied about this and it's directly from your NCRT. Let's go to the next question. So during the purification process for recombination DNA technology, so addition of chilled ethanol. So you would have done this in your practicals also where you have spooled out the DNA fragments and hence this is for DNA and this is the practical based question for today. So question number 134. So identify the pair of heterosporous pteridophytes among the following. So 2 names are given in your NCRT in plant kingdom under pteridophytes, that is Selaginella and Salvinia. So therefore the option 3 is the correct answer for this. Option 3 directly from your NCRT. So let's go to the next. Axile placentation is the characteristic of Solanaceae. Please remember. Okay. So hence we need to look for Solanaceae, but in your NCRT, so apart from Solanaceae, so they have given about Malvaceae. So Malvaceae is China rose and Citraceae. Citraceae is lemon and therefore Petunia is Solanaceae. So the option 1, China rose, Petunia and lemon are the correct options for this. So here assertion and reasoning again. A flower is defined as modified shoot. Of course, yes. So whereas in the shoot apical meristem, which changes into the floral primordia and develops into the flower. So reason is internode of the shoot get condensed to produce different floral appendages, floral whorls, calyx, corolla, and laterally to successive nodes instead of leaves, and hence we have the flower. So assertion is for the statement assertion, reason is the correct option. So hence option both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A, which is option 2. Let's go to the next question, that is 140. How many different proteins does the ribosome consist of? It consists of 79 to 80 proteins. That's what given in your NCRT. So therefore, here 79 to 80 range is not given. So therefore, let's choose the option 80 as the correct answer. Melanoate, melanoic acid, inhibits the growth of pathogenic bacteria by inhibiting the activity of. So which particular enzyme is inhibited by malonate. So we have come across this in respiration in plants, that is succinic dehydrogenase, the main enzyme which is also involved in electron transport chain, is inhibited because of malonate, and hence therefore option 2 is the right answer. So this is a matching question, matching type question. So let's see, take a look at this. So oxidative decarboxylation, so where there is removal of hydrogen and removal of carbon dioxide takes place at the same time. And glycolysis, so you know about glycolysis and oxidative phosphorylation. In the presence of oxygen, phosphorylation takes place, and tricarboxylic acid cycle, TCA. So which option? So here we have citrate synthase, pyruvate dehydrogenase, electron transport system, and EMP. So glycolysis has EMP name also, Emden-Meyerhof-Parnas pathway. So therefore, let's match this. So next, oxidative phosphorylation is nothing but, so electron transport chain. So for this option, the correct answer is option 1. So A2, oxidative decarboxylation takes place. So pyruvate dehydrogenase in the presence of that, and B4, so glycolysis has also Emden-Meyerhof-Parnas pathway. And C3, oxidative phosphorylation is nothing but electron transport system or electron transport chain. And tricarboxylic acid citrate synthase is the enzyme that's involved. So therefore, option 1 is the correct answer. So given below are two statements. So this is about the gases, organisms and population interactions here. So Gauss's competitive exclusion principle state that two closely related species competing for the same resources cannot coexist indefinitely, and competitively inferior one will be eliminated. Gauss is given this statement. So that's a right statement. So for this statement, so what is about the another? In general, carnivores are more adversely affected by competition. No, herbivores are more adversely affected by competition because they wouldn't be having any other source, whereas carnivores will have many sources of food. So hence the option 4 is the correct answer. Statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is false. Which of the following combination is required for chemiosmosis? Chemiosmosis is one of the important phenomenon given by Peter Michel. So we have studied that about that in photosynthesis as well as in respiration in plants. So it requires a membrane, a proton pump. More than that, proton gradient should be formed, and ATP synthase. F0 and F1 particles, the coupling factors act as ATP synthase, and therefore, so all these are present in both in the inner membrane of mitochondria and the membranes of chloroplast. So, thylakoid. So therefore, the option is 3. Given below are two statements. One is level. So again, this is an assertion and reasoning. In gymnosperms, pollen grains are released from the microsporangia and carried by air currents. So they have winged pollen grains. So therefore, air currents. So that is anemophily is correct. So reason, air currents carry the pollen grains to the mouth of the archegonia where the male gametes are discharged and pollen tube is not formed. So here it is not formed. Pollen tube is formed. So therefore, this is wrong and this is correct. So assertion is true, but reasoning is false. So hence that option is correct. Option 4. So coming to the question number 143. So the question is not there, but which one is not incorrect? So here the question is, which of the following statement is incorrect? So let's read the statement. The amount of some toxic substances of industrial waste, okay, so increases in the organisms at successive, so which is called as biomagnification. That's right. So the microorganisms involved in biodegradation of organic matter in the sewage polluted water body consume a lot of oxygen, which is called as biological oxygen demand. That's right. So algal bloom caused by excess or organic matter in water improve water quality. It never improves the water quality, and it's called as eutrophication, and that's a wrong statement. And water hyacinth grows Eichhornia abundantly in eutrophic water bodies and leads to an imbalance in the ecosystem. Very correct. Terror of Bengal, you have learnt about it, and this is also correct. So therefore, option 3 is incorrect, and that should be your answer. So going to the next one, which of the following statements are correct about Klinefelter syndrome? So Klinefelter syndrome, which one is the right one? Let's take a look here. So here, Turner syndrome and Klinefelter syndrome. So very first, Landon Down syndrome, Down reported Down syndrome. So this option is wrong. And so it's question 144. So here, such an individual has overall masculine development. Of course, gynecomastia, you have learned that word there. So that is right. So, and the affected individual is starch eater. No, not right. Physical and psychomotor development is retarded. Not really. And such individuals are always sterile, and that's right. So B and D are right, and option 4 is the correct option, correct answer. Okay. So now identify the correct statement. Lenticels are the lens shapes opening. Yes. So they are present, permitting the exchange of gases. Lenticels are present in the stem of the plants. And bark is a technical term that refers to all tissues exterior to vascular cambium. Yes, exterior to vascular cambium, you have bark. Bark refers to the peridome, phellum, phyllogen, phylloderm. Are the 3 words you have learnt about the peridome? Yes, that's right. And phyllogen is a single layer. No, phyllogen, just now, it's not single layer, it is multiple layers, and therefore A, B, C are the correct options. Sorry. So hard bark. So this is also wrong. So A, C, and D. A, C, D. Oh, I'm sorry. Phyllogen is a single layer. That is also wrong. I'm very sorry about this. So it is option 3. That is A is right and D is right. So bark formed in the season is called hard bark. That's wrong. And bark is a technical term. So it's not a technical term. It's a non-technical term. So just like that we are not using it in botany. So it is used in a general English as bark. So hence that is the not a right option. So therefore it is A and D correct. Option 3. Only A and D are correct options. So question number 146. So it is a matching. So here, let's take a look here. So quiescent stage is nothing but inactive phase. Quiescent is an inactive phase. Mitotic phase is the equational phase. Okay. So and G2 is where the proteins are synthesized, and G1 is the phase where so it takes. So therefore, which here 146, the option 4 is the correct answer. So that is A4, B1, C2, and D3. So that is interval between mitosis and initiation of DNA. So DNA synthesis is not given here, which is the S phase. So option is correct. So let's go to the next question, 147. So mutualism, commensalism, this is the organisms interaction question. And here, so option A is mutualism, both are benefited. And B, so commensalism, one is benefited, another is not affected. And C, amensalism is neither of them. So one is not harmed and another one is not benefited. And 4 is parasitism, one is benefited, another is harmed. So therefore, option 3 is the correct answer. Coming to the next. So again, it's a matching type question. So here we have option. So let's see the answers. So A, cohesion. So what is cohesion? Cohesion is the mutual attraction among water molecules. Adhesion. So adhesion is the attraction towards the polar surfaces, that is the tracheary elements or the vessels. So that's what is the answer. And the surface tension is the more attraction of the liquid when the substances are in the liquid phase, and guttation is the exudation of water from the hydrothotes, water in the liquid form. So therefore option 2 is the correct answer. So main steps in the formation of recombinant DNA are given below. Arrange these steps in the correct. So this is from the biotechnology chapter, and this is one of the easiest question for today again. So answer is, so the first is cutting off. So here, yeah, isolation of the DNA. So then what you do is second, insertion of that. Yes, cutting off DNA at the specific location, then inserting it to the DNA into the host cell, that is through the plasmid, and amplification of that gene. So then getting it in multiple copies is the next one. So therefore option 2 is the correct answer. So the last question for today, so that is all about the mineral nutrition. So here we have, so iron. So you know that, so this is the, again, ruling out, if you don't know the answer also, definitely you will be knowing all about the molybdenum. So molybdenum you find in nitrate reductase and nitrogenase, and that should be the answer. So D is always 2, and only one option has the D2. So you can figure out the answer. So 4 is the answer. So A, 3, so that is activation of catalase enzyme. So in hydrogen peroxide formation, so you would have learned that. And zinc is the synthesis of auxin. Boron is required for cell elongation and differentiation, and therefore the option 4 is the correct option. So thank you all of you. Here Centum Academy, on behalf of Centum Academy, I'm signing off. Thank you all of you.
So this is Tushar, guys, and I hope you got the answers for the paper you attempted today. I know you all have put in a lot of effort since last 3-4 years, and today was the day of redemption. So my best wishes to all of you. We will be publishing the key separately in this link itself in the description, maybe by tomorrow morning. You had a long day, so just relax. Even if some of the questions are wrong, don't worry. You check it again tomorrow. And don't worry about the results now. Just for an announcement, we are launching our NEET long-term program from 25th of this month. It's a residential program, so God willing, all of you succeed. But just in case, if anyone wants to take a reattempt, you can always come to us, and we will try and help you as much as possible. So with those words, signing off, and best wishes to all of you once again. Do well, and may God give you the force to become great doctors in this life. Thanks, God. Thanks again. Bye-bye, and good night to all of you.